non-severe Wednesday and Wednesday night. This is 97.1 FM Talk Chief Meteorologist Dave Murray.
But Russia wants the eastern Donbass region, something Ukraine's president has not put on the table. And despite its focus on the east, Russia bombed further west over the weekend in Lviv. Fox's Alex Hogan is there.
Since the start of the Russian invasion, Russian troops have failed to fully take over any major city in the country. And Ukrainian troops are now slightly shifting, turning to the offensive. The mayor of Irpin, outside of Kyiv, today said that Ukrainian troops have managed to fully take back their town.
A U.S. defense official reporting another town retaken outside Sumy in northeastern Ukraine. Two giant brewing companies are pulling out of Russia, Heineken and Carlsberg, which owns the biggest exporter of Russian beer. Calling a budget a statement of values, President Biden is out with a $5.8 trillion blueprint, paid for in part with higher taxes on the wealthy.
President Biden's spending proposal includes a new billionaire's tax, ensuring in any given year, those with more than $100 million pay at least a 20% federal tax rate. The plan also includes increasing the corporate tax rate to 28%. That rate was lowered to 21% in a Republican-led tax overhaul in 2017. White House economists project the budget plan would cut deficits by more than $1 trillion over 10 years.
Fox's Jared Halpern at the White House. Some of the proposals would bring back elements of the stalled Build Back Better plan. America is listening to Fox News.
Finding great candidates to hire can be like, well, trying to find a needle in a haystack. Sure, you can post your job to some job board, but then all you can do is hope the right person comes along, which is why you should try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. ZipRecruiter doesn't depend on candidates finding you. Its powerful technology identifies people with the right experience and actively invites them to apply to your job. You get qualified candidates fast. So while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, ZipRecruiter finds you what you're looking for. The needle in the haystack.
4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate through the site within the first day. ZipRecruiter, the smartest way to hire. And right now, you can try ZipRecruiter for free. That's right, free. Just go to this exclusive web address, ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free. ZipRecruiter.com/free.
Mark Cox here. School board elections are coming up April 5th. This is important. I want to help you make the right choice for you and your children. Listen to the Mark Cox Morning Show weekdays from 5 to 9, where I'm interviewing the candidates and asking them about the important issues like school mandates and remote learning and CRT. I'm also working on my school board edition of the 2022 Voters Guide with my endorsements. That's weekdays 5 to 9 a.m. on 97.1 FM Talk.
FanDuel Sportsbook NBA same-game parlays give you the chance to turn a little bet into a big payday. Choose any NBA game and combine multiple bets like the amount of three-pointers made, who the leading scorer will be, and more into one wager for bigger wins. Choose any NBA game and build out your own same-game parlay. For the legs of the bet, you can pick who you think will win the game, the money line, over, under, total points for your favorite player, or pick the player to score the first basket of the game. Make the midseason feel like the playoffs when you bet on FanDuel Sportsbook. The winnings get paid fast, it's top-rated, easy to use, safe, and it's a secure app. Plus, if you're a new customer, you can bet $5 and get $150 in site credit, instantly guaranteed. Download the FanDuel Sportsbook app and sign up using the promo code MARK to bet the NBA today. That's promo code MARK exclusively on FanDuel Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NBA and 97.1 FM Talk. 21 plus in President, Illinois. First online real money wager only. $10 first deposit required. Bonus issued is non-withdrawable site credit that expires 14 days after receipt. Restrictions apply. See full terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
The Fed has raised rates.
But there's still time to lock in Golden Oak Lending's low 3.25% rate.
I'm James Hawkins, president of Golden Oak. With home values at all-time highs and our low rates, you can pull more cash out of your home.
Call 314-567-GOLD today.
Golden Oak Lending, cured my blues.
NMLS 114937, 3.25% fixed, 4.361% APR. FHA 15-year mortgage with 20% equity and approved credit.
Home warranty. I know, right? Buying coverage for appliances, your heater and AC, etc. from a company that hopes you never ever have a claim or call. Let me introduce you to a real home warranty company, the kind that actually wants to help you. Upkeep Home Warranty and Maintenance. Upkeep visits your home 4 times a year to maintain your appliances and equipment. You will never get a lack of maintenance denial because Upkeep does the maintenance. Also nice, Upkeep assigns you one point person to help you. You won't be passed around like an office hot potato, and you won't get subcontractors. Upkeep does all their work, so there's no blame game. Just experts helping you. Visit upkeepstl.com today and type in 971 for $100 off. Don't be denied. Instead, be relieved. Upkeep Home Warranty and Maintenance. 636-387-7331.
Keep up your home with Upkeep. Keep up your home with Upkeep. Keep up your home with Upkeep, and you'll have a happy home.
Discover thousands of dollars in new tax credits and your biggest refund guaranteed with Jackson Hewitt. Schedule an appointment with one of our tax pros to get a head start on your taxes. Go to jacksonhewitt.com to learn more and find a location near you.
Odyssey is an all-encompassing audio landing zone where you can find podcasts in any genre and listen live to 97.1. Not to mention that you can rewind within the last 24 hours. 97.1 FM Talk on the go. This hour of the Annie Frey Show is sponsored by The Loading Dock, Riverviews, outdoor dining, live music, and overnight accommodations. Visit GraftonLoadingDock.com.
That is exactly what I needed to hear.
Thank God someone here knows what they're talking about.
That's us. That's right. Gotta love this American ride.
Right, you need to take the time and get the full picture.
Come on, turn the radio on. It's Saturday and I won't be long.
Don't get me wrong, I love the ladies. I mean, they rev my engine, but they don't belong in the newsroom. It is Anchor Man, not Anchor Lady.
What do you want from me? I'm not America's sweetheart.
Goodness sake, kid. Keep your voice down. Your father's listening to the radio.
I'm not America's sweetheart.
This is the Annie Frey Show.
It's been a double whammy for the Tin Kitchen and its 2 trucks.
Travel fee with something that we're charging now because which is not something we used to charge. Tara?
In business for a dozen years, Michael Terrell says he's never seen anything like this.
It just sucks. It just sucks.
Saving money by limiting where they go and what they serve.
We reduce our menu for sure. We're making sure that the spots that we're going to are either nearby or it's going to be worth our trip out there.
Permanently parking is not an option for these food truckers, but they do hope help in any form shows up.
You know, when CNN is reporting on people talking about gas prices and everything, and they're just saying it just sucks, that might cut through to some people who haven't been cut through to before. And I'm going to say I'm grateful that CNN is doing it. Happy Monday. Welcome to the Annie Frey Show. I'm very grateful that you are here today because it is a jam-packed day full of news and excitement and some economic trepidation that is still on the front line here of everything we go through each and every day. Well, it's basically a what next situation. President Biden overseas. We're going to get the lowdown from Dakota Wood here in about 15 minutes or so. What took place? We've got, some gems from President Biden speaking openly in front of the world, saying things.
For God's sake, this man cannot remain in power.
It's funny because Americans are saying the same thing, but not about Putin. That's unfortunate. It's different, though, when you're saying that as a free American about the president that you do not have confidence and you do not have trust in, or when you are the leader of the free world on foreign soil talking about the guy who's invading the other country that you're trying to get to stop, and you say this guy can't remain in power. Well, of course, that was walked back a bit, but alas, here we are. So we appreciate you being here today. Dakota Wood at 12:25. Stephen Moore, going to talk to him about the consistent economic bad news that we continue to get. I mean, you and I know in our daily lives, middle-class Americans likely who are just pushing through each day, trying to make sense of what's going on and make good financial decisions for ourselves into the future, whether that future is a few weeks from now or a few months or years. You need to make sure that you hear Stephen Moore at 1 o'clock, and we'll talk to him about the latest. And I'm going to ask him if, obviously from a policy standpoint, he advised President Trump on the America First tax reform that took place. He was a huge integral part of the Trump campaign in 2016 that put together the tax reform that they actually were able to get in place. And he's got several books out there that you can check out about what he has done, policy-wise. But you and I don't get to make policy. Do we? No. We just have to live in the world where the policymakers think that they can do what's best for us. And we hear this past weekend that Senator Manchin has said, let's talk a little bit about a really, really leaned out Build Back Better. What's in that Build Back Better light version, and how should Americans brace themselves? All right. And then at 1:25, of course, Kevin Wheeler in studio, because the best news of the whole weekend, you're watching the live right now, Brad Morris Cardinal shirt. I was going to wear my Cardinal shirt as well. I think I have a Pujols shirt somewhere, but I couldn't find it. And I wonder if I, in a fit of rage 10 years ago, got rid of it. I can't remember.
I remember I was going to get a jersey, and I didn't get a Pujols jersey because it was right around that time we weren't sure if he was going to sign or not.
Yeah.
So I went with a Yachty jersey.
This is a good move.
Yeah, it looks like Yachty's going to retire a Cardinal.
Yeah, he's not going anywhere.
Have I ever told you my jersey rule?
I don't know.
I don't get a jersey with a name on the back that isn't a player that has already retired as a Cardinal.
No.
Yes.
We have not had that conversation yet.
That's my jersey rule.
But now we have. I buy jerseys for my husband for not this is not a regular thing. I think I've done it 3 times. But I always want to make sure that whoever I purchase it for is, whether they finish their career for the St. Louis Cardinals or if they were to get towards the end of their career, whatever, sign and go somewhere else, that the jersey is still going to be an iconic Cardinals jersey. And he has, I think, 3 Adam Wainwright jerseys. So it was a great investment. Jared was an Adam Wainwright fan. Did he come to us in the minors? Because I know he came from Atlanta.
Yes.
And he was a prospect. We took him, and he was in the minors before he came up. And then in 2006, he played and closed essentially for us.
Yeah, Isringhausen got hurt.
Yeah. And so the 2006 run, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's him and Yachty embracing on the mound in New York City in the NLCS Game 7.
Yeah,
and
he struck out Beltran with that curveball,
and then
froze
Beltran
him.
came and joined us. And
Yeah.
oh man, but Albert Pujols is back. We're burying the lead here. $2.5 million contract, 1 year. Kevin Wheeler storms the castle here at 1:25, and he's happy about it. I think on Twitter he's like, okay, here we go. So we'll talk about that at 1:25. We're going to get to that. In the 2 o'clock hour, we're going to talk a little Will Smith and Chris Rock, and I'm not going to talk about it so much in the way that everybody else is talking about it right now, like who's right, who's wrong. We're going to discuss that. But that's today's YouTube live chat poll. So if you go to the Annie Frey YouTube channel, we are live right there, right now. Make sure you subscribe while you're there. And you can vote in our poll today. And I'm very interested in this conversation that we're going to have in the 2 o'clock hour. The poll question is there ever a right time to throw the first punch? So everybody's obviously talking about Will Smith and Chris Rock. And I know you guys, I know a lot of you are like, this is just the distraction the leftist media needs from the news. Okay, I get it. It is a distraction, but it is also news. You do not see this type of thing happen in life. And oh man, I tweeted out last night. I think my tweet said, pray for Will Smith sincerely. And I'm going to read to you some of the comments I got back. We got some talking to do about that. So we're going to discuss that all. Come back in the 2 o'clock hour if you got to go away for work or whatever, but you want to hear that conversation. It is going to be a discussion among the whole room, and we are going to bring your comments in. And when you go to the Annie Frey YouTube channel and you vote on that live poll, is there ever a right time to throw the first punch? You can comment on that live chat. If you think so, yes, give us a scenario where that's the case. And Hannah is watching all these comments, interacting with you in the live chat, and she will put those comments aside and we'll read some of your comments live in the 2 o'clock hour. You have thoughts on this that you need to talk about in the 2 o'clock hour?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I'm interested to hear if you and Ryan are in simpatico on that. I'm obviously interested in sharing my thoughts on it, but we'll see if Hannah has thoughts and Trisha.
Is it because we're a couple, or is it because
Brian?
Yeah.
We'll see what Brian has
Or
to
is
say
it
about
because we're
about
both guys?
I don't know. Who would throw the first punch, Brad or Ryan?
Oh,
We'll talk about that later.
yeah.
Too. That'll be tomorrow's poll. Are you experiencing Ukraine fatigue at all?
A little bit. Yeah. I'm like, I want the updates. I want to know what's going on. I'm done with the outrage. Just give me the information at this point, right? I'm tired of, because I know that it's war and I know that bad things are happening.
Ryan he didn't even, you gotta come shut the door. If you're gonna barge in here but not even come in the studio and throw the door
I might
open.
throw the first punch right now.
Answer. Yeah, watch the live chat or the live broadcast and you can just see the answer to that question. We know who'd throw the first punch. And we know which one of you would slap too. Just gonna put that out there. 12:45 is Wiggins America. Forgot to promote that.
Well, promoted now.
His first time to be invited into the studio is at 12:45. I look at the top of Fox News, and obviously they have the Ukraine story. I mean, there's a war going on there, and people are dying right now because of what Vladimir Putin and Russia is doing to Ukraine. Our news cycle is generally extremely short span attentioned. We don't follow stories at length without getting a little calloused and cynical about it. The top of Fox News says, show of force, day 33 live updates. This major incursion, one might say, into Ukraine, there's no part of it right now that feels like it's close to being over compared to day one, right?
No, it feels stalled. It seems like the news coming out is the same day. Russia's around Kyiv. Russia's making gains in the east, that sort of thing. And then Ukraine is fighting back and pushing hard, and then the next week it's the same thing. And then all of a sudden there's a bomb that hits a building and it's like, oh, now Russia's attacking civilians. Russia's targeting civilians. And then Zelensky says something, and it's the same couple of things over and over and over again. And that's kind of what I was getting at with the fatigue. It's going to be to me, it seems like it's going to either just out of the blue end, or it's just going to be a long, long, long event. And I don't know where the off ramp is. Well,
and you also have to ask yourself, you have to remind yourself, I should say, I have to remind myself that this isn't a story with an arc and a natural ending. This is real, murderous war. This could last. Just think about COVID. The complete and total screeching halt that the world came to. I mean, we did not know pre-COVID that something like that was possible. And I go back to September 11th, and while they are incredibly different scenarios, I'm not comparing the action of September 11th to what COVID has done to the world or whatever. But on September 10th, I couldn't have even fathomed a world that looked like September 12th. And it was a 48-hour time span. The clock just moved the way it moved. And on one day, I was living blissfully, ignorant, I suppose. And then 2 days later, you're stunned. And you can't remember what it was like 2 days ago. COVID was the same thing. We all came to a screeching halt. Specifically in Illinois, I speak for Illinois. And so I think for everybody, this was an extent. But I mean, maybe there is a contingent of America, which I have a feeling is on the west side of the Mississippi River, that did 15 days to slow the spread and said, yeah, I'll do that for you. There was no 16th day.
No.
And I'm pretty sure that was in the Lake of the Ozarks. We all remember the people.
Oh, yeah.
Those people are fine, right? Maybe I should have gone to the people. I was questioning everything. That Lake of the Ozarks story, I mean, that was a national news story that there were people at the Lake of the Ozarks in Missouri who were shockingly having fun in public with other people. We get these news stories. The deputy press secretary or something now has COVID. Jen Psaki had COVID. I don't need to know everybody who has COVID. If President Biden gets COVID, if Kamala Harris gets COVID, tell me. Probably. Maybe even after they've gotten better. Like, I don't really need the entire world knowing that our feeble president who is saying we need to get rid of Vladimir Putin's leadership in Russia, that he is now ill with a virus that has taken the toll and the lives of many people across the world. Look at how they treated Donald Trump when he got COVID.
Right.
Are they going to do the same thing for Biden if he is to get?
There's no chance.
I really can imagine a scenario where he gets it and we find out that he's recovered.
Mm-hmm.
But, I guess, what would have to happen? We'd have to have real journalists who would expose truth for the sake of exposing truth, not anything else. The Russia story continues to exist. We should continue to pay attention to it. We're going to continue to pay attention to it here. And that is because it's very important to what happens next globally. And Americans need to be aware of it. But I don't think that, since there's very limited that I can do about it, or that me talking to you about it ad nauseum, that you can do about it, other than sit around and worry. I mean, I did that for a week, and it was not healthy for me because I didn't know that it was going to be taking a month, when in realistic terms, like COVID, where we all sat around for 15 days and I remember telling my husband, I don't think I've worn shoes in 2 weeks. I would get up and go do the show in my basement, and I would put jeans on every day, and that was like my real world moment. I could have worn soft pants every single day, but one reason I kept putting on jeans is because I wanted to make sure I fit into them every day, because everybody is put on the COVID-19.
Right.
I wanted to make sure that my jeans still fit, even though nobody knew the difference if I was wearing soft pants or shorts or whatever it might be, PJ pants. We were eager to do what we had to do for 15 days, 30 days, and then it just didn't end for a lot of us. I know for many of you listening right now, you're like, not for me. I've never worn a mask in my life. Well, that's good for you. It hasn't been that easy in other places for people to adhere that, specifically in the state of Illinois, among other blue states. This Russia story, I think, could be lasting a very, very long time. And if I'm looking right now at Fox News, Ukraine's military has recaptured another town from Russian forces. A senior U.S. defense official said Monday that Ukraine's military has recaptured the town of Trostyanets. Probably not saying that right. I'm not a fancy person, people. In the eastern part of the country, and are, quote, slugging it out in Mariupol. So which way is this going? And if Vladimir Putin is pushed back out of Ukraine to any extent, with the circumstances going into this conflict completely being set up against Ukraine. Ukraine didn't have the opportunity. They were suggesting this would take maybe 3 days. If Vladimir Putin is pushed back into Russia and he loses, how's this incredibly rational, calm, collected man going to react to that? I do not know. So we're going to pay attention to it, and we're going to talk to Dakota Wood in about 5 minutes about it. And we're going to get the facts, not the sensationalism that goes around this story. And then we're going to get to other business of the day, like the economy, like Albert Pujols, and like that YouTube live chat poll question. Is there ever a right time to throw the first punch? Go to the Annie Frey YouTube channel, vote in that poll. It's in the live chat section right now, and give us a comment as to why you voted the way you did, or when it might be right to throw the first punch. I'm incredibly intrigued by this whole conversation. I've never physically been in a fight myself, maybe mentally. A few of the punches that I've just thrown mentally. We'll get to that in the 2 o'clock hour. Dakota Wood with Heritage Foundation when we come back.
This is the Annie Frey Show. Find the podcast, on-demand audio, and more at 971talk.com/Annie.
Mark Cox here. You know, school board elections are quickly approaching, and I want to help you make the right choice for you and your children. Listen to the Mark Cox Morning Show, where we'll interview candidates and discuss the most important issues 5 to 9 a.m. on 97.1 FM Talk.
Yachty and Waino are back for another season in their legendary careers. On Saturday, April 9th, celebrate their long-standing battery with one of 4 mystery jerseys. That day, the Cardinals host the Pirates, and 25,000 fans ages 16 and older will take home a mystery jersey featuring either Yadier Molina or Adam Wainwright, courtesy of Coca-Cola and Walmart. Which one will you get? Find out on Saturday, April 9th. For tickets, visit Cardinals.com.
2021 marked the 50th and final season of Mike Shannon's legendary career in the broadcast booth. Sunday, April 10th, when the Cardinals host the Pirates, 25,000 fans ages 16 and older will take home a one-of-a-kind Mike Shannon bobblehead. Kick off the 2022 season and honor the longtime voice of the Cardinals with this commemorative bobblehead thanks to Phillips 66. That's Sunday, April 10th, the Cardinals, the Pirates, and the Shannon bobblehead. Get your tickets at Cardinals.com.
Hi, this is Andy Berg, board-certified master arborist with Hanson's Tree Service. Leaving your ash trees unprotected from the emerald ash borer may lead to an unforeseen rapid decline in their health. Go to hansonstree.com to find out how we can service your trees today.
Attention investors. How would you like to collect a government-backed check with secure double-digit returns in as little as 21 days? The tax lien code is going to expose the best-kept secret in real estate investing in a free 20-minute Kickstart video. Text the word INVEST to 26022 now and let their free video show you how to earn government-backed returns up to 25% with as little as $50, or how to invest in tax-delinquent homes that are 50% off market. Plus, see how you can access private tax lien inventory not available to the public. So if you want to become a real estate investor that buys tax liens from the comfort of your own home, then text INVEST to 26022 now and get your free Kickstart video. Text INVEST to 26022 right now and you'll get free tickets to attend a live training in the St. Louis area that will include your VIP tax lien bidder number, a power bank charger, and a tax lien investor kit free to all attendees. So text INVEST to 26022. That's INVEST to 26022 for your free Kickstart video.
Transform your home into the most beautiful home in the neighborhood with Banner Construction, St. Louis's preferred James Hardy and Pella expert. Right now, the safest place to invest is in your home. Add curb appeal and value with a fresh new look you'll be proud to own. Check us out on the website or call 314-569-1050 for a free in-home design consultation. That's bannerconstruction.com or 314-569-1050 and have a banner day. Again, 314-569-1050 or bannerconstruction.com.
I'm Thomas Helbig with the Retirement Advisory Group. I'm proud to say we are a family business. Through innovative financial tools, my nephew Bob and I are committed to making sure your retirement nest egg is kept safe from market declines. As a matter of fact, we have never lost a dime of our clients' money, and we won't lose any of yours either.
Hi, I'm Bob Kershaw, and the secret is in linking safely to the market without putting your principal at risk. As we look ahead at the likelihood of increasing volatility in the market, it's important that you protect your nest egg from market losses, as that's the engine that drives your retirement income.
Our family would like to help your family retire comfortably and keep your retirement safe and secure. Call us now for a no-cost, no-obligation retirement review. And just for coming in, you'll get a copy of my second edition book, Your Key to a Worry-Free Retirement. We've been helping retirees and pre-retirees retire with confidence for 36 years. Call us now, 314-993-9494, or online at retirementkey.com. That's retirementkey.com.
The Annie Frey Show is streaming online. Watch us live on YouTube and subscribe.
I'm confident that Vladimir Putin was counting on being able to divide NATO, to be able to separate the eastern flank from the west, be able to separate nations based on past histories. But he hadn't been able to do it. We've all stayed together. And so I just think it's so important that we, Poland and the United States, keep in lockstep in how we're proceeding.
President Biden speaking overseas this weekend. Some things he said were welcomed. Some things he said were head scratchers and had to be walked back. But the conflict still exists over there. Like I read right before we went to the break, Fox News' latest update says that Ukraine, their military has recaptured another town from Russian forces. I don't think that this is going the way Vladimir Putin intended. But I'm not the expert. Dakota Wood is. He's a senior research fellow for defense programs at the Heritage Foundation. He's with us right now. Dakota, welcome back to the show. It's a pleasure to have you back.
Hey, great. Yeah, great to be with you. Thanks.
So talk to me a little bit about your understanding of the president's trip overseas, what he went to accomplish, and if he was able to do so.
Well, I mean, he wanted to assert the point that the U.S. is still this major player, very influential, that we're the ones that are solidifying NATO resolve and the focus of European countries. That's just not the case. I think the response from the Europeans has been, hey, appreciate you showing up. Great to have you here, as opposed to, oh, man, we are relieved that you're here. You know, now we can get started. I mean, it's a difference between a Reagan showing up and Joe Biden showing up. So, the remilitarization, Germany's doubling down on its defense budget, NATO members reconsidering how little they have spent on their own militaries. That occurred when Russia invaded Ukraine. And the United States, unfortunately, has been a step behind every bit of the way, even to issuing crazy statements like the White House saying we never intended for these sanctions to deter Vladimir Putin, when that is exactly what they were saying for the last 6 months. So I just don't think that this administration has any real credibility. I mean, we're still an economic heavyweight, and we're still providing munitions and those sorts of things, but it's been all part of public pressure and media pressure on the White House, nothing that the White House has actually led with in the past half year.
You know, Dakota, you talked about the deterrence of Vladimir Putin and saying that these their actions weren't intended to deter. We have a supercut, which I'll spare folks. The administration saying repeatedly that it was to deter or it was a deterrence. If it wasn't intended to deter, what did this administration do to try to deter Vladimir Putin?
No, it's a risk-averse approach ever since forces started building up in a year ago. Remember, it was the early exercises in spring of last year, and then the Russians kind of drew down a bit. Putin then ramped back up in big way in the fall, and then those folks never left. Clearly, the invasion has happened. So the White House's approach has been driven by a fear of escalating, of broadening a conflict, of getting drawn in to something. And instead of having some ambiguity, the president repeatedly went out and said all the things that we wouldn't do. We would never go, to a fight with Russia. We would never introduce U.S. forces into Ukraine. We would never do X, Y, and Z. And so that telegraphed or plainly stated to Vladimir Putin all the things that he didn't have to worry about. So from his standpoint, the only thing he has to be concerned about is the Ukrainian military. Clearly, he underestimated that. And I think his own forces have been lying to him about their readiness for combat. It's a problem that I think also exists in the U.S. military. But, the West, the U.S. in particular, gave them just a clear path forward, either out of fear of getting involved, fear of broadening a conflict that was sure to happen, or eliminating any potential external involvement from any other country as he was considering this push across the border.
So we're speaking with Senior Research Fellow for Defense Programs at the Heritage Foundation, Dakota Wood. I'm curious, I was thinking about this on the drive into work today, that if I know that we're 3 years away from another election and maybe Biden runs again and wins again, maybe not. But let's just say that Trump or somebody with the Trump mentality were to come in and this administration were to switch over to that. How quickly is the global reaction to the, almost black and white distinct change in the way America asserts itself, presents itself, stands by itself? Is that something that an administration change is felt immediately worldwide?
Yeah, I do think it has an impact. We all went through school at some stage in our life, right? There is a difference to having the actual teacher in the room or a substitute. When you're in a meeting, a business meeting, and whoever the boss is, the CEO or whomever, When they're chairing the meeting, there's a different tone in the room than when they leave and ask somebody else to kind of take over. I mean, we've all experienced that. It's intangible, it's an emotionally felt sort of thing, but it just changes the tenor. And so I think if we have somebody who comes into the White House and just seems to have this sense of competence, of effectiveness, a rational actor, the actions match the words reflect what actions they will or will not take. It is perceived in other capitals. This isn't somebody we want to mess with, or this is somebody we want to be friends with. And so that's, I think, what we're looking for, and that the missteps that this administration's had since they came into office, Afghanistan just being one of them, but mismanaging the economy, the COVID response, just one after the other. We're dealing with the president with the lowest approval ratings, I think, in history. And it's really hard to climb out of that hole when it's tepid responses, misstatements, finishing a carefully crafted speech with this, hey, Putin can't remain in power. I mean, they're just not thinking through the consequences of a White House presence saying or doing something or not doing those sorts of things. And so the ability to do something is going to be one thing, 2 or 3 years down the road. If our military continues to shrink and age, it doesn't prove to be effective in its very operational settings, there's only so much any president can really do, but you can be effective with what you have. And we haven't even had that in the past year.
I questioned this when I saw the president's remark saying that the man cannot remain in power, referring to Vladimir Putin. It would be difficult for the stakes to be any higher than they are in this moment right now. Am I right in that assessment?
I agree with you, and it shows a clarity of thought or a lack of clarity of thought. What are you saying in certain forums? So any president is speaking in basically three different audiences, maybe four. One is the American public; it's a domestic audience. Two is their immediate support base, their constituency that got them into power, maintain them there. Three is your friends. Do they want them to be reassured and strengthened? And then it's your competitors, your enemies. So everybody is listening to the words that are being said. And you have to be very, very focused about the message that you're giving and how that might be received by those intended audiences. And it just doesn't seem to be in the scope of the president to be able to juggle all those things in these very high stakes environments.
Dakota, when we're seeing I commented about the latest Fox News update, because they have this live blog and it says Ukraine is potentially taking back a city that was currently held by Russia. Is Ukraine winning right now?
I think it's we have to be cautious about that. There is an ebb and flow to conflict, right? So it could be that Russia is pulling forces from around Kyiv and the northern areas and swinging them around to really claim the eastern part of the country. That also could be a feint, that they pull back. That as they do make this push on the eastern side, the Donbass region, that causes Ukraine to reinforce their defensive efforts there, weakening defenses around Kyiv and other parts, and then Russia exploits that, right? That could be the case. It also could be the case that at this point in time, with the losses that they've suffered, they really do want to secure the eastern part and probably push down along the Black Sea coastline, the southern coast portion of the Ukraine, to at least get these ports on the Black Sea and control the flow of goods and resources in and out. So it's this is secret planning on the part of everybody involved. There's lots of propaganda. We see successes and losses, and its war just plays out on kind of a day-by-day basis. So really premature to say this thing is, in its concluding phases, or that Ukraine is winning. Ukraine has definitely held its own for a month, right? I mean, it's just been incredible, the effectiveness that they've had with the resources that have been given them, hence the importance of continuing to flow munitions support and other sorts of aid into Ukraine so they can continue to fight.
So,
because if it collapses, then there are implications for the Baltic states and Romania and Moldova and some other areas in Eastern Europe.
If Vladimir Putin does effectively lose or is not able to accomplish at all what he had clearly set out to do, I mean, a lot of people question his stability. I question everything. I mean, look what he's willing to do and how he's willing to do that. I mean, does that become Is this man capable of losing on the world stage?
He is. Well, it is entirely possible. I mean, him dealing with it is very problematic. I think that this likely ends with him either completely investing in Ukraine, meaning the use of chemical munitions and just disastrous sort of destruction to Ukrainian cities to take it by force, or he's going to be bounced from power. And I think that there are economic consequences. A pariah state now, that Russia is, and Vladimir Putin would never be accepted as a kind of a legitimate, trustworthy partner sort of national leader on the world stage. So he has hazarded everything on this. And I think it really, we're on the precipice of probably a domestic upheaval in Russian politics.
How does that...
if things continue to go not his way.
Last question for you. We're speaking with Dakota Wood right now. How does... with the way Russia works, how is he removed from power? Like, what does that look like, the way Russia's government is structured?
Yeah, it can go ugly or it can go smoothly. He could be just delivered a message. Hey, all of your trusted advisors, the business oligarchs, the military generals, all that stuff have just decided you're not the guy. And so if he wants to remain alive, he retires to some dacha, outside of Moscow and enjoys his days riding bareback on a horse someplace, right? So it could end that way. It could be that he tries to fight back and he has loyalists, and we end up with some kind of a coup sort of situation that, if you recall back in, 92 or so, with the collapse of the Soviet Union, there were tanks in Red Square, right? I mean, and there was some shelling that went on, and things were really kind of in the lurch for a few weeks until it settled down. So you could see kind of a moderately contested sort of, business, or security guard, marches in, they grab the guy, he disappears, and we never hear from him again. So, any of these are possible paths.
That first scenario that involved the bareback horse riding would be lovely, but seems the least likely. I don't see that happening. Dakota Wood, you're always a pleasure to have on the show. Thank you so much for being here again.
Blessing for me. Thank you.
Bye-bye. Senior Research Fellow for Defense Programs at the Heritage Foundation, online at heritage.org. Two things. I wonder what Vladimir Putin's horse's name is. If anybody has any suggestions of what would be a good name for Putin's horse or what he would name it, I'd be curious what that would be. And secondly, I think Dakota Wood took a stab at substitute teachers there, and Brad took it personally.
Yeah, I did. What the heck, Dakota? Were you one of those kids?
I digress. If you go back and, you can listen to that whole interview on the Odyssey app and rewind to we started at about 12:28, and I asked him about, well, you know what? Let's just do this. I'll explain what just happened if you missed it when Ryan Wiggins comes back, and let him weigh in on this situation, because he might have some thoughts as well. Wiggins America, when we come back, he's going to talk a little social media censorship and a study that was done about how social media censorship and cancel culture, its relationship with extremism. See if you can put two and two together. Ryan Wiggins will in Wiggins America when we come back, and we'll talk a little substitute teaching. Don't go away.
This is the Annie Frey Show. Follow Annie on Twitter at Annie Frey Show. The Mark Cox Morning Show.
I don't know how often you tell people, read the directions. I keep getting messages on Facebook. Why isn't my school district listed? Unfortunately for some of you, there's nobody running in your district worth voting for.
Weekday mornings 5 to 9.
Hi, this is Lance Drury with the Lance Drury Law Firm. When it comes to your tax issues, why would you trust some faceless national company that uses cartoons in its ads to protect you? Tax problems are not funny and should not be treated lightly. If you owe the IRS, you have a legal issue, and you need a lawyer that will protect your rights. You can't meet face-to-face with a cartoon, and what happens if the national company can't resolve your issue and stops returning calls? Do yourself a favor and call the Lance Drury Law Firm. Our office is right here in St. Louis. I am a local attorney specializing in tax resolution. You can come in and sit down with a licensed, experienced attorney and put a name with a face. When it comes to tax issues, don't go with a cartoon. Get serious help with the Lance Drury Law Firm. Remember, if you have IRS issues, you have legal issues. Call attorney Lance Drury, 314-260-6120, or go to lance.drurylaw.com.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely upon advertisements.
Wealth-changing question.
Is your investment portfolio really customized? Some advisors say they customize portfolios, but all they really do is ask you a few questions, then put all your money in a model portfolio. At Creative Planning, each of our private wealth management clients' portfolios is unique. Your investment mix will be based on your custom financial plan. If that's not how your money is managed, you aren't getting the customization you deserve. Book your free meeting today at creativeplanning.com. Creative Planning, a richer way to wealth.
Springtime in St. Louis, and if you hate to paint, do what your neighbor Mr. Rob Miller from Harvesttown Auto Body in St. Peters did. He called Rhino Shield. Rob, what was the thought process for going with Rhino Shield as a business owner?
My family's business is over 10,000 square feet, and it did not have the curb appeal I wanted.
Rob, tell everyone how the experience was with Rhino Shield from start to finish.
The process that I liked was when you came out, you gave me all of these options that would fit my building. Our building was really faded. I don't want to have to paint my building again. 25 years is a long time to not have to worry about the outside maintenance of your building as far as paint. That's a no-brainer. That's why Rhino Shield worked for me.
Are your neighbors jealous?
I would be if I was them.
Thanks, Rob. Now it's time to call 877-25-RHINO, 877-25-RHINO, or 877-25rhino.com. Genius.
Don't paint, don't Rhino, go Rhino Shield. Never paint your house again. Rhino Shield.
Here in St. Louis, Major League teams have won 13 world championships. We have the world's tallest arch. We have more than 1.1 million men, and more than half suffer from ED or PE. If you're having problems in the bedroom, you'll see results on your first visit at Paramount Men's Medical Center. Guaranteed, or your consultation is free. Listen to a specialist in men's health.
I'm Dr. Schwartz. If pills like Viagra have let you down, Paramount Men's Medical Center has custom blended medications to help you last longer in the bedroom, regardless of age or past medical history, with no pain and no surgery. In fact, you'll see results right in the office, guaranteed, or your exam is free. Patients are now lasting 30, 60, 90 minutes or longer, and it's affordable.
Contact Paramount Men's Medical Center to schedule a private consultation. Call 314-720-8254. 314-720-8254. That's 314-720-8254.
You're listening to the Annie Frey Show live from the Air Comfort Service Heating and Cooling Studio. Air Comfort Service is hiring licensed journeymen. Don't have a journeyman license? Air Comfort Service will help you get it. Get guaranteed hours year-round and more. Apply online at aircomfortservice.com.
If it's bumper to bumper or smooth sailing, Sue Thomas has you covered with dependable traffic. Driven by Ambassador Midwest Floor Company, the best way to deal with in-home traffic. Experience more at Ambassador Midwest Floor.
Meet me in the middle.
You're listening to The Annie Frey Show.
I need you close.
Interact with Annie on Facebook. The Annie Frey Show.
Things I seem to miss the most. Oh, is that you I walk?
Okay, so the question of the hour is if Vladimir Putin obviously has horses because we've seen the pictures of him shirtless on him. If Putin had a horse, what would it be named?
Moscow Mule.
Oh.
Yay, I win.
No, you don't. Paul on Facebook said Putin's horse would be named Ritz. Putin on the Ritz. That wins. He had a close
Wow, yeah, that's better than mine.
Yeah, you got to give him the
Moscow
W for
Mule
that.
is
Moscow Mule is pretty dang good,
Until
though, right?
Paul came in and stole your thunder. You said that before you did. And we told you, like, no, don't look at the comments. I want to tell you on the air. Moscow Mule is not bad.
I think so. Unless it's a female horse, then it would be a Moscow mare.
You say it like that. That's so weird. So weird.
Just solid comedy is what it is.
We have a YouTube. Okay. We have a YouTube live chat poll going on right now that I'm excited to talk to you guys about in the 2:00 hour. I'm interested to see how you, Ryan, and you, Brad, are going to agree or disagree on this, being the two gentlemen that you are. Is there ever a right time to throw the first punch? So you can vote in this poll. You have to go to the Annie Frey YouTube channel. You can do it on your phone right now. Just pull up YouTube and type in Annie Frey, F-R-E-Y, in YouTube. Our live broadcast, which is what you're watching right now, will be there. And vote in the poll. It's in the live chat section. And let us know if there is ever a right time to throw the first punch, yes or no. And comment why you voted the way you did. And we'll get your reaction to that. And we'll talk a little Will Smith. Did you see the whole thing? You know,
Man, I woke up to some news this morning. I think a lot of people did.
with that and Albert, I was like, I don't know which way to go. There's too much happening right now.
All I know is that I felt just cozy and at home on Twitter last night.
that was
Everything.
bad.
Those are two events, one like national and one local, and I was just like, I am so happy to be here. And I didn't go to sleep until 2 or something. Let's do Wiggins America.
Wiggins! Oh, Wiggins!
Speaking of social media.
Well, you'd think that banning extremists from social media platforms would make extremists rethink their position, wouldn't you? But apparently a nonpartisan study from the King's College in London, Dr. Nafis Hamid, a senior research fellow on radicalization, among other academics. So I think this is very peer-reviewed, very widely known and held study on the subject, says that major social media platforms' strict content moderation and censorship policies are making people more isolated, more polarized, and causing more dangerous extremism in society than previously would have been.
I don't think we have an objective definition of what extremist is.
That is a great point.
So I think that if you can't agree on that, you can't look, not to discredit what you're looking at, because I think that we couldn't be more isolated from each other. That's the point.
Yeah.
That's the goal here. But to suggest to read a study that was it a university that did it?
Yeah, King's College in London.
I don't know anything about them. But to do a study and talk about the elimination of extremism, it's pretty clear that at least American social media, I mean, what percentage of extremism do you think that Twitter and the guy who runs it now, who I can't remember what his name is right-wing? What percentage? Like, what percentage of that extremism occurs on the left? Let me put it that way.
Like actual or perceived, or that they're banning?
What they label as extremism.
Oh, almost everything they label extremism has got to be center to right.
Not center.
Not well, I
that
mean,
would be the opposite
but
of extremism.
they view things that are even in like moderate, normal positions as extreme. Is my point.
You're saying their Overton window just sits firmly on the left.
Yes, that's what I'm saying.
So, are we asking what is labeled as, or what of the extremism that is on Twitter? How much of it is left and how much of it is right extremism?
No, because the Twitter police get to determine clearly, obviously, at this point in time, what is and isn't extremism. And if they wanted to eliminate 100% of extremism from Twitter, they're going to do that on the terms that they set and the distinctions that they make. What percentage of what they eliminate ends up being an elimination of right-wing thought? I mean, to me, it's almost as if the definition of an extremism for Twitter starts first and foremost with politics, not things that are actually extreme views, because there are things that are extreme that do exist on the right that also equally exist on the left. Like the offense is the same. It might be SSDD, if you know what I mean. For instance, I don't remember what his name is. Who was the guy who we stumbled across? He had the counter CPAC.
Nick Fuentes?
Maybe. He's like banned from everything, everywhere. And I didn't know of him. I didn't know like what he stood for. He's been banned, so he hasn't been in my crosshairs at all. But he is labeled a right-wing extremist. Marjorie Taylor Greene went to his counter CPAC conference that was taking place in Orlando. So Marjorie Taylor Greene is the one who exposed me to Nick Fuentes, because he came across my news feed because of Marjorie Taylor Greene. And then I saw some stuff that this guy said. He is the most despicable piece of scum, like waste of space, racist, bigoted person who is so clearly comfortable spewing these things that he rightfully has been banned from everything. But Marjorie Taylor Greene went to his conference. I really question her decision to do that. And she gained no points with me because of her willingness to expose me to somebody who has his history. So to me, him being banned from Twitter is a great example of eliminating extremism that has no place, honestly, in the public discourse.
Well, the question being, what is extremism? Because this study, which appears to be very nonpartisan, it wasn't as if somebody, from Breitbart funded it and it was going to have a determined outcome. They say in it that tech giants such as Facebook, Twitter, and Google are facing all-time highs in hate speech and misinformation, with such content increasing 20-fold between 2017 and 2021. Well, what does that mean? It increased 20-fold according to what and according to who? According
based
to
on
those
whose measuring stick.
according to those outlets. Because, like you said, for now, it can be somebody who's really far in one direction or the other, or it can be something as simple as speeches at CPAC.
Mm-hmm.
YouTube is censoring just normal
That's like the NPR
speeches
story
now.
I read about Herschel Walker. The headline was like, Herschel Walker questions evolution. And then you read the story and he was in church and he was talking about believing that God created the earth.
Oh.
I'm like, this is not article worthy, NPR. A lot of us Christians believe in creationism. It's just part of the whole thing. Faith. Can I prove it? No. Can you prove it? Is there some semblance of science that could maybe not 100% discredit the idea that things do evolve over time? You got to have faith to believe in evolution. So it's weird to say that it makes no sense to say that you would need that you only need faith to believe in creationism. I also think that it's really, really important to distinguish between, you said, hate speech and
let's see, hate speech and misinformation.
The reason why it's so easy to marginalize right-wing positions on things that do not, because there is some that does qualify for hate speech that is put on the right wing. Left-wing hate speech and left-wing misinformation is mainstream.
That's true.
It is accepted across the board as fact, and anything else is alternative.
And if you were
that's
actually getting rid of hate speech, then in the last 4 to 5 years,
oh my gosh,
it actually would have been getting better. You would say, oh, it's gotten better because we banned those people. No, they're getting worse.
No.
So the argument is self-fulfilling.
They've used it to empower themselves and politicize it. Stephen Moore, when we come back, take it away.
Attention investors. How would you like to collect a government-backed check with secure double-digit returns in as little as 21 days? The tax lien code is going to expose the best-kept secret in real estate investing in a free 20-minute Kickstart video. Text the word INVEST to 26022 now and let their free video show you how to earn government-backed returns up to 25% with as little as $50, or how to invest in tax-delinquent homes that are 50% off market. Plus, see how you can access private tax lien inventory not available to the public. So if you want to become a real estate investor that buys tax liens from the comfort of your own home, then text INVEST to 26022 now and get your free Kickstart video. Text INVEST to 26022 right now and you'll get free tickets to attend a live training in the St. Louis area that will include your VIP tax lien bidder number, a power bank charger, and a tax lien investor kit free to all attendees. So text INVEST to 26022. That's INVEST to 26022 for your free Kickstart video.
Update your home with great flooring from Menards. With hundreds of flooring options and top brands like Tarkett, you'll find the perfect flooring to give your home a fresh, new look. Laminate flooring is durable and scratch-resistant. Sheet vinyl and vinyl plank are waterproof and easy to install. Get 11% off everything, including Tarkett flooring, now at Menards. Good through April 2nd. Savings are mail-in rebate. Some exclusions apply. See store for details.
Save big money at Menards.
Nobody wants to miss the important things in life, and if it's because of bad vision, you don't have to. Mark Cox here from my friends at Brenton Vision. They can help you out. That's why I want you to take 2 minutes today to call my friends at Brenton at 314-375-2020 or go online to BrentonVision.com. Your eyes are as unique as your fingerprint. Since Brenton Vision is the only place in Missouri offering all 7 forms of modern vision correction, they can create a customized treatment plan just for your vision. They helped my wife out. She chose the lens replacement therapy and now sees better than ever, and she loves it.
You can have that same experience with Brenton Vision. They accept flex plans and medical spending plans as well at Brenton. So don't let that money expire or go to waste. See your best. Do what we did. Call Brenton Vision at 314-375-2020 or schedule online right now at BrentonVision.com.
Hi, this is Curtis Barks. I am the owner of Complete Auto Body and Repair, here to tell you about our touchless automotive service. If you're experiencing the constant struggles of having the kids home from school or just want more of that family time where you can listen to them teach you about what they do every day, we provide touchless automotive service, return the vehicle to you clean and ready to go in the comfort of your own home. Check us out online at CompleteAB.com for more information. If it's not perfect, it's not complete. Others can't compete with Complete Auto Body.
Dad, and service.
Oh yeah, and service.
He's fixing cars.
KFTK FM Florissant, driven by the Bomarito Automotive Group, 97.1 FM Talk.
An Odyssey station.
A federal judge points a finger at former President Trump. I'm Lisa Brady, Fox News. It happened while the judge was ordering emails to be turned over to the House committee probing the Capitol riot. Fox's Gernal Scott has this live.
Lisa, saying in his ruling that former President Trump likely tried to obstruct the joint session of Congress, Judge David Carter ordered legal advisor John Eastman to give more than 100 emails to the House January 6th committee. The exchanges are believed to suggest that then Vice President Mike Pence had the power to reject the 2020 electoral count. Judge Carter, in his ruling, called the plan's illegality obvious, pointing to one memo that maps out Supreme Court challenges aimed at an election overturn unprecedented in American history. An appeal from Eastman is expected, Lisa.
Thanks, Gernal. Meantime, the committee plans a vote tonight on whether two former Trump advisors should be held in contempt for refusing to comply with subpoenas. President Biden's new budget template facing some early criticism from the left. Vermont Senator Bernie Sanders taking issue with more defense spending. The president also wants more for education and public health while proposing a billionaire's tax.
Anyone with revenues and unrealized gains of more than $100 million will face a 20% minimum tax rate. The IRS would have to figure out the value of increased various businesses and properties to see who qualifies for this tax. The budget also raises the corporate tax rate to 28%. Now, that is the original rate the president wanted last year, which was a red line for Senator Joe Manchin.
Fox physicist Edward Lawrence at the White House, ahead of another round of peace talks with Russia. Ukraine's president says his country is prepared to declare its neutrality and consider a compromise on contested areas in eastern Ukraine, but he's also emphasizing territorial integrity, suggesting Russia's stated goal for the Donbass region is not possible. America is listening to Fox News.
Finding great candidates to hire can be like, well, trying to find a needle in a haystack. Sure, you can post your job to some job board, but then all you can do is hope the right person comes along, which is why you should try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. ZipRecruiter doesn't depend on candidates finding you. Its powerful technology identifies people with the right experience and actively invites them to apply to your job. You get qualified candidates fast. So while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, ZipRecruiter finds you what you're looking for. The needle in the haystack.
4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate through the site within the first day. ZipRecruiter, the smartest way to hire. And right now, you can try ZipRecruiter for free. That's right, free. Just go to this exclusive web address, ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free. ZipRecruiter.com/free.
Air Comfort Service Heating and Cooling weather with Chief Meteorologist Dave Murray.
Keeping it quiet on this Monday afternoon. Partly sunny skies, though it's still a little bit on the cool side. 55 degrees. Tonight, lots of clouds, 40 degrees. Tuesday, more clouds and sunshine. It's warm and windy Tuesday afternoon. Basically a dry day Tuesday, but 69, 70 for the high. Best chance for rain and a couple of thunderstorms, non-severe, Wednesday and Wednesday night. This is 97.1 FM Talk. Chief Meteorologist Dave Murray.
This is your reminder to get your teeth cleaned because you got to do it once every 6 months to a year. And if it's been a while, then now's the time. This is Ryan Wiggins. Fountains Family Dentistry is the place to go. If you are in the Metro East, especially in the Collinsville, Fairview Heights, O'Fallon area, very, very easy to get to from no matter where you are, just off of Highway 64. And the great thing about Fountains is that they will not waste your time. You will go in, you will get what you need to get done as quickly as possible and be on your way. And that is the most important thing to me anyway. Now, I know a lot of people have dental anxiety, or if you have kids and they're just nervous about the idea of going to the dentist, he's also great at that too. Their whole team is super ultra nice. And Christine is the dental hygienist there. She will baby you if you need to. In fact, she probably will baby you even if you don't need to, but they're going to respect your time. Open late some days, open early some days. That's to accommodate your schedule. Fountains Family Dentistry, you hear me talk about them all the time. They're in Fairview Heights, Illinois. FountainSFamilyDentistry.com.
Wealth changing question. Is your advisor giving you incomplete advice? Besides investing, there's also taxes, insurance, estate planning, and other elements that can be stressful to organize. At Creative Planning, we provide all the expertise, all the advice you need, all in-house, ensuring all aspects of your wealth are working harder together, so you can enjoy your wealth instead of worrying about it. Book your free meeting today at creativeplanning.com. Creative Planning, a richer way to wealth.
When you're approaching retirement, there are a lot of questions to answer. Do you have enough money to fund your income for life? How should you claim Social Security? And what's your plan for health care and long-term care? Hi, I'm Eric Robert, Director of Investments with the ClearPath Wealth Management Group at Stifel and host of On the Money Saturday mornings at 11 on 97.1 FM Talk. Don't leave your retirement to chance. It's crucial to understand and address relevant risks before you retire. Our team can help you get organized, guide you through critical retirement decisions, and create an investment portfolio designed around your needs. To schedule your free retirement plan consultation, go to clearpathinvesting.com. That's clearpathinvesting.com, or call us at 636-695-2650. That's clearpathinvesting.com or 636-695-2650. Stifel Nicholas and Company Incorporated, member SIPC and NYSE.
You can ask your smart speaker to play 97.1 FM Talk and stay connected to everything happening in the world, the country, and the community. It's all through the new Odyssey app. 97.1 FM Talk. This hour of the Annie Frey Show is sponsored by The Loading Dock, River Views, outdoor dining, live music, and overnight accommodations. Visit GraftonLoadingDock.com.
That is exactly what I needed to hear.
Thank God someone here knows what they're talking about.
That's us. That's right. Gotta love this American ride.
Right, you need to take the time and get the full picture.
Come on, turn the radio on. It's Saturday and I won't be long.
Don't get me wrong. I love the ladies. I mean, they rev my engine, but they don't belong in the newsroom. It is Anchor Man, not Anchor Lady.
What do you want from me? I'm not America's sweetheart.
Goodness sake, kid. Keep your voice down. Your father's listening to the radio.
I'm not America's sweetheart.
This is the Annie Frey Show.
Democrats have been in denial about this bill. I think this is a place where I think Senator Tester and I agree, which is like, inflation is, people, again, talk about lack of memory. People do not remember in this country what it was like to have runaway inflation and have inflation that destroyed, was one of the main reasons that destroyed Jimmy Carter's presidency. Yep. If you look around the world over the last 150 years, there is nothing that has caused spells political ruin more than inflation. And you've seen Democrats for the last year basically, it's going to be fine. It's transitory. It's going away. It's like, guys, it's the only thing everybody's worried about around the country.
NBC's John Heilman talking to who? None other than Bill Maher, suggesting that Democrats have been in denial about inflation. Man, I keep hearing questions to like liberal pundits on Fox News. And as far as me sitting down in front of the news to watch it, I really only do watch Fox News. I cannot sit down and consume in long form CNN or MSNBC. Brad, do you take the time to sit down and watch the news? Because we get so many, we hear so many clips and we're constantly in a barrage of that way of taking things in. But do you ever watch the news?
No, I can't really sit down and watch the news. I'm too busy.
Yeah. I will watch Fox News I like to hear about Bear. I like to hear the Five if I can pick up some of that. Granted, the majority of the time that's on, it's kids are running around and babies and dogs and so on and so forth. But I can't sit down and take in CNN. I think I need to try again just to see if the shift in leadership if there's any measurable change. I will give them credit if there's credit to be given. But you get the Bill Maher's of the world who are starting to expose these things and having John Hyland from NBC come on and make these comments saying that the Democrats have been blind to it. And if those conversations are happening there, it's going to become harder and harder and harder for the politics behind it that I think have in large part really driven these media outlets, these corporate media outlets, to get away with not exposing truth and actually investing in journalism. I came across this Chuck Schumer clip. I'm going to tell you the date of it. It's May 23rd, 2018. Why is that relevant? Well, let's just listen to what Chuck Schumer had to say outside of a gas station on May 23rd of 2018. Listen in.
President Trump can take action today to help alleviate the pain at the pump for Americans. It's time for this president to stand up to OPEC on behalf of the forgotten man and woman he promised to remember. He's pallying around with the Saudis and UAE and all these other oil-rich countries. Why doesn't he ask them to lower their prices so that the prices at the pump can be lower? We haven't heard a peep from him on this subject. It's time for the president to buck his oil executive buddies who cash in when oil prices are high and stand up for working Americans.
So Chuck Schumer, gas was skyrocketing up to $3.89 a gallon. If I see $3.89 a gallon at the Missouri gas station right here, I'm like filling my tank up, putting some gasoline in my pockets to take home over to the unfree state of Illinois. Can't $3.89, man. That's a steal right now. And Chuck Schumer was calling on Donald Trump to do that. I mean, maybe Joe Biden isn't the friend of the oil companies. I think that's an understatement. But is President Biden doing anything to get gas prices to come down? Isn't there a tax holiday that they can? Have you heard people talking about that?
Well, they could. I mean, there's always a federal tax that they could take off.
Same. I think Missouri has have they successfully pulled back their tax?
That I don't know.
Hike, because Illinois has talked about doing that as well. And the scary part for Democrats who have implemented all of these, and in Illinois, some Republicans who voted in favor of the tax hike, the tax increase, which doubled in 2019, I believe. And I will remind you, Illinois drivers, that when they doubled the gas tax, I think it was from 18 cents to 36 cents a gallon. They also added in an annual increase of 1 cent per year, in the words of Sandlot, forever. There's no end to it. It is an in perpetuity increase on the doubling of the gas tax that they had before. And they said they'd do it all for infrastructure. Well, I was told by Republicans who voted in favor of it on this show that the Republicans were told by the Democrats who were running this basically scam, Mike Madigan, this goes back to him, that if the Republicans did not vote in favor of that tax increase, that the Democrats, who had the supermajority in both chambers of the General Assembly in the state of Illinois and Springfield, would ensure that those districts of those Republicans got none of the revenue that came in when the bill would inevitably pass, because they had the supermajority, so they could pass it. I kind of am at the point where we're losing so bad in Springfield, Illinois specifically, that vote against it because we're sick and tired of the tax hikes. And what do you have to lose? They're going to pass it anyway, but now you don't have to explain it all the time. Regular Americans understand that prices going up and up and up do not just on gas. It's not just gas. It's your bread. It's the stuff that you go to the store to buy. It's the fact that when you go to the store to buy it, the stuff isn't on the shelves that you're going to purchase. And if the stuff isn't there, and when you walk into the store the next time it is there, you're going to pay whatever you got to pay to make sure you can put that in your cart, because you know that the next time you go there, it might not be there. Supply, demand, prices go up. People understand what's going on here, and all we get from this administration and the Democrat pundits who are trying to do anything they can, because this is the whole point, folks, is to make sure that, yeah, stuff sucks right now, but we just need to make sure you know who to blame for it. And it is anybody but them. They are saying that these companies are out here price gouging, that it is on the American business. It's always on the American business. Democrats expand and bloat government so much that people find ways to do their business outside of the shores of the United States of America. Then they produce things outside of the United States of America for much more affordable than they can produce them here. And in some places, yes, it's impossible to compete with slave labor rates in places like China, who we still don't figure out a way to properly put in their place and demand that they don't have human rights violations in the way that they create and produce. We have to compete with that. It makes it super difficult, but we're in the meantime working against our own special self-interests in the United States of America to encourage people to do business here because we overregulate everything. The Biden administration's number one goal when they get behind a podium and a microphone or a camera or on a radio show is always to make sure that you understand that they are not to blame. Why not talk about some solutions? Chuck Schumer had solutions for how Donald Trump could fix the gas when gas prices were out of control May 23rd of 2018 and they were costing $3.89 a gallon. I assume he was in New York. He's a senator from New York. Was gas $3.89 in New York?
Yeah, that's
the horror.
Yeah, that's what the sign said behind him.
Yeah. Chuck Schumer took the time to go out to a gas station and try to dunk on Donald Trump and gas prices, but like do not even for a second think that Chuck Schumer cares about how much you're paying at the pump. All he was using is an opportunity to tie Donald Trump to the oil companies. Why? Because the oil companies are the villain of the left and their progressive squad agenda, which says that the world's going to end in 12 years if we don't do everything they say and get rid of every source of energy, traditional energy that we use and export to places so that they don't have to be beholden to Russia. I mean, this all comes down to this green energy plan that the left is drunk on. And I'm talking about the empowered, hyper-progressive left of the Democratic Party. I'm willing to bet that probably 50% of the Democrats or progressives or liberals that you know are not in lockstep with people like Cori Bush or AOC or, even some of the more established nut jobs who have let them play in the sandbox out in front of everybody for long enough so that they can win elections in places that they need to take to run the table. I mean, Brad, I don't know what the political breakdown is of your social circle. We haven't had that discussion either. I'm going to need a graph. Democrats, Republicans, red and blue, nice pie chart.
It's purple, but it's a very red purple. So
it's a burgundy.
Yeah.
Democrats that you know, that you interact with. I mean, we all have family members, like lifelong union family or blue collar and care deeply about the thing that it is that they care deeply about that may be on the blue side of the aisle. I just don't really know anybody in real life in middle America here personally. Not on my professional level where I seek people out to talk to them about these specific issues. Personally, real human beings with mouths to feed, even if it's just their own, electricity bills to pay for, homes to heat, all of this that are just, face falling first on the ground on the left side of the political spectrum. I don't know real people like that. I know people who think that Donald Trump is the worst thing to grace the face of the planet. Would not vote for him in any circumstances. Do not look at the scenario that we have right now in this country and go, yeah, I got to hand it to you. Donald Trump would have been better. I know people who would still prefer to have Biden as president than Trump, but they're not dumb to how the policies that used to be in place that aren't in place anymore were better, at least for them personally. And sometimes I think that they have guilt about that.
Yeah, I could see that. I'm trying to think of the people in my life that would be that. There might be one person maybe 2 that I can think of, but I don't actually talk to them too much anymore. And it's not anything that, well, the one was definitely, they don't talk to us anymore because they just stopped talking to everybody after Donald Trump got elected.
Yeah.
Which was really unfortunate because I really like him.
Mhm.
I still, and when I see him in the stores, I wave to him and say hi, and he says hi back, but that's kind of it.
Yeah.
And then the other person, they got a different job in a different state, so I don't actually get to see them anymore.
The people in my and I don't have this like massive social circle. I don't know who does right now coming off of a pandemic. Everything kind of got pulled in tight to the vest. But the most interesting thing to me is that lifelong friends and family that I have or have had, that the people who are interested in that I can tell that actually care about me as a human being will happily talk to me about politics, even though they know that we're on the opposite side. And it's actually what makes our relationship special and great, that we talk about these things. We know that at the end of these conversations, we are not going to agree. I'm not changing their minds. They're not changing mine. But we'll learn about each other, and we'll learn about, if I throw out a talking point, they push back on that. If they throw out a talking point, I push back on that. And we have conversation. We care about each other because there are things that are more valuable than political alignment. I have noticed that there are several people in my life specifically who I either have been acquainted with or friends with for a very long time, or even am related to in one way or the other, who, now that I'm doing this for a living and I'm out with it, I don't have a choice, folks, and I'm not ashamed of where I come at these issues. And if those people wanted to be man or woman enough to discuss these issues, we'd probably find out that we have more in common on specific things than we don't. These people will make public comments on maybe social media or take opportunities to weigh in on things that I've done or said. And it's not a frequent thing, but there are a few people who use this as their opportunity to have their voice be heard, and they've never once talked to me about it. They've never come to me and said, Annie, you said something about this, or you shared something about this, and I don't understand how you can think that way. It hurts my heart that you believe X, Y, and Z, and I care about you, but I just can't get on board with this. They don't do that. They put it on Twitter or Facebook or something like that, and they can't contain it in themselves. They have to say something so bad that they are interested in sharing it on social media, but they won't talk to me about it. I don't understand that, and it changes the way I value those people in my life. And I realize that they care more about their political points than they do as me, as a family member, or as a lifelong friend, or somebody who, we were acquainted and nothing was ever wrong, but you've got this deep-seated frustration with me because I believe something politically different than you, that you have to tell the world about it. You have to call me out about it in a very, very public way, but you are unwilling to talk about it to me personally. I just think it's the weakest, saddest, sorriest thing in the world.
It makes me wonder maybe if I kind of, and maybe I'm wrong in thinking this, but sometimes I think that people who are so ingrained in their ideology, be it left or right, that they can look at somebody and in their brain, I already know everything I need to know about why that person supports whatever cause it is. And therefore they, and it's usually the worst case scenario, right? And then if they were to talk to you, that would force them to reconsider why it is, because they would actually find out why you actually believe whatever political stance is that you're taking. That would force them to then look at it and go, well, maybe everything that I thought that I knew about people who believe stuff on the right or stuff on the left is different. And that is a worldview changing, world shaking kind of thing for people. And people don't like that. They like to have their situation set up. They like it to be the way it is going to be. And they don't want anybody to move anything around.
Yeah.
And it's sad because, like you said, it hurts relationships in the end. I think that there are people on the left that have come to their conclusions about the way things should go for very valid reasons, very, not malicious things. I don't think everybody on the left is like out to get people on the right. Are there some people over there? Sure. But there's some people on the right that are exactly what the left accuses the right of being,
Mm-hmm.
And because we don't talk to one another, those become the caricatures of each side, and then we're stuck in the middle and relationships are broken.
And it also prioritizes a political belief over a heart-to-heart connection with a human being. And, if you have like a parent and a child becomes wayward or whatever, that parent is still going to strive to love that child because the relationship is more important than the, politics behind it. But there are parents and children who have the same problem as well. And I know that the reason why I'm talking about this is because this is something I think everybody experiences. And I think people on the left experience it from people on the right. This is not a partisan issue where I'm suggesting that, this is what the left does to the right. This is what people who don't have priorities in order, where humanity is more important than politics. This is the world we end up in. And maybe if we would reprioritize humanity over politics, then actually the trickle-down effect of how our politics would be helped by the right prioritization, I think it could be seismic. Every time it happens, and it doesn't happen too terribly much, maybe not anymore. It certainly did earlier on, and there are a few people who just every once in a while they can't not be heard. And I don't usually end up finding out about it until like down the road. Like there's not an instance where I can react to it immediately because I don't necessarily see it then. It just makes me sad, and it makes me sad for that person. Because if the relationship is lost, I kind of ask myself, was there a relationship even to lose? And maybe there wasn't. And if I need to come to grips with that with any particular individual, I'll come to grips with that. But I got good people in my life, and we'll just focus on making those relationships better. The only way that any of the political, like we can sit and, pound our fists on the table and scratch our heads over how we're going to fix Washington, D.C. Oh my gosh, that is so far down the road from fixing what's going on in our own personal relationships. Nothing in D.C. gets fixed before we can fix our own relationships and willingness to have discussions with each other where we learn about why someone thinks a specific way without feeling like at the end, either we both agree or we can never talk to each other again. When we come back, we're going to talk to Kevin Wheeler about the deal of the century in Major League Baseball. Mind-blowing. Albert Pujols to become a St. Louis Cardinal once again. His reaction as a fan and as an analyst when we come back. Don't go away.
Caught up in this world. I've wasted time.
This is the Annie Frey Show. Find the podcast, on-demand audio, and more at 971talk.com/Annie.
I need to move. I need to fight. I need to lose myself tonight.
History looks back on times like this. Where do you stand? 97.1 FM Talk is here to spotlight what would otherwise be left in the dark. Right here, right now. 97.1 FM Talk.
cajonesinc.com is the website. Would you go check that out and see about building your next home in the Metro East with the very best of the best? These people are committed to making sure that you're comfortable through the entire process. C.A. Jones Inc. and the wonderful staff that they have there have built so many homes in the Metro East. And I'm talking Staunton up to north to Springfield, Waterloo, Columbia, everywhere in between there. They are building gorgeous homes for people just like you. If you've never built a home before, the customizations that you can get through C.A. Jones and also the really smart stuff that they put into their house, like solar energy, things that are going to equip your home to be self-sufficient in many cases. They're experts when it comes to home building in this way, and they're also pretty affordable. So if you're looking to build a home right now, please consider what you can get from the fine folks at C.A. Jones. They're the top energy efficient home builder in the area, and each home comes with a HERS rating that shows how efficient that home actually is, providing a lifetime waterproof basement warranty and a 10-year structure warranty. Learn everything you need to know about C.A. Jones online at cajonesinc.com.
Updating your home with James Hardie Siding has never been more popular. With all of the options available, you need a partner to maximize your investment. The rising prices on vinyl siding has made Hardie Siding a great alternative. Siding Express is ready to refresh the appearance of your home or totally transform the look by installing Hardie Shake, board and batten, lap siding, or a stone accent to make it your dream home again. Siding Express is an elite preferred James Hardie contractor. Need ideas? Go to sidingexpress.com and schedule a free, no-obligation consultation today.
When Richard Irvin decided to take on Pritzker for governor, he wasn't following a whim. He was answering a long familiar call to duty. Irvin joined the Army out of high school, served in Desert Storm, decorated for bravery. Surviving a brush with death in a dangerous war zone, Richard dedicated his life to service because he loves his country and knows how fragile freedom and security are. As a prosecutor, Irvin put thugs behind bars, drug dealers, gangbangers, 1,000 convictions, hired more cops and cleaned up crime as mayor, balanced budgets, passed property tax relief. When riotous looters came to town, Irvin shut them down. He knows we'll lose the country he fought for if the radical woke mob takes control. Irvin says all lives matter, that schools shouldn't teach kids to be ashamed of their color or country, that we'll take our state back if we have strong, service-minded leadership. And that's Richard Irvin, our next governor, paid for by Irvin for Illinois.
Yachty and Waino are back for another season in their legendary careers. On Saturday, April 9th, celebrate their long-standing battery with one of 4 mystery jerseys. That day, the Cardinals host the Pirates, and 25,000 fans ages 16 and older will take home a mystery jersey featuring either Yadier Molina or Adam Wainwright, courtesy of Coca-Cola and Walmart. Which one will you get? Find out on Saturday, April 9th. For tickets, visit Cardinals.com.
2021 marked the 50th and final season of Mike Shannon's legendary career in the broadcast booth. Sunday, April 10th, when the Cardinals host the Pirates, 25,000 fans ages 16 and older will take home a one-of-a-kind Mike Shannon bobblehead. Kick off the 2022 season and honor the longtime voice of the Cardinals with this commemorative bobblehead thanks to Phillips 66. That's Sunday, April 10th, the Cardinals, the Pirates, and the Shannon bobblehead. Get your tickets at Cardinals.com.
Attention business owners. This is a public awareness message from the ThrottleNet cybersecurity team. The war against hackers and ransomware is underway. The only way to prevent the war from impacting your business is to speak with the ThrottleNet cybersecurity team immediately. You need to act now. The ThrottleNet cybersecurity team is prepared to protect you against cyber threats. Schedule a meeting right away by visiting throttlenet.com/cyberwar.
The Annie Frey Show is streaming online. Watch us live on YouTube and subscribe.
What do you mean? When you nod your head yes, but you want to say no.
Well, it's a great day in St. Louis, and maybe that's a subjective opinion, which is why we brought Kevin Wheeler in here, KMOX sports reporter, host of Sports Open Line on Twitter at KevinWheeler94. Kevin, I'm on Twitter, glued to it. Will Smith is slapping Chris Rock. Everybody's going crazy. And then they're like, wait, Pujols is signing with the Cardinals. And I'm like, what? I can't do all this on Twitter at once. It was a great night locally and nationally on Twitter. I mean, maybe not great in the Will Smith world, but were you there?
It's the only thing that made me want to watch the Oscars.
Did Will Smith really slap Chris Rock?
Look like it.
I totally think so, too.
I mean, I don't think you're like dropping F-bombs on TV if you're not actually mad. Like, you don't plan that.
And if you saw the video of Will Smith when he says, keep my wife's name out of your...
He was not... Put it this way, if he's acting, that's another Oscar right there.
I said to my husband, I'm like, man, he looks like a PO'd husband.
Yeah.
And I'm like, and then I go, but he is an actor.
Although it was weird, because he was laughing at the joke initially.
Oh, yeah.
He was laughing, and you could see that Jada was like super mad. Like, you could see it. And then all of a sudden, Will's up on stage. I'm like, okay, what changed?
That's where if you understand a little bit, we're going to get to this in we haven't really talked about this all day, but I wanted to get your take on it. If you know the Jada Will Smith relationship, it starts to make a little more sense.
Yeah, and I don't know. I mean, I feel like maybe I'm wrong, but I feel like if somebody insulted my wife in front of 10 million people, I might have a reaction to it.
There's a lot of that hot take out there.
I mean, I don't know, and I'm not saying it's a good thing necessarily, but
yeah.
I mean,
I will not say anything about your lovely, beautiful wife.
No, not you. I would never hit a woman in any example, but if it was a dude, I thought somebody made a funny joke because the memes were amazing on this on Twitter.
Yeah, they're all over the place.
Somebody was like, I wonder if
and you're a meme guy, so
I wonder if yes, I love the memes. Somebody was like, I wonder if The Rock had said that joke, would he have gone up there? I'm like, I think we know the answer to that.
He'd
Of
have
course,
to be
The Rock wouldn't do that
a
because
little
he's not
more
a comic.
Ali and a little less Genie from Aladdin, man. Slap. He didn't even throw a punch. I digress. We'll talk about that more in 2 o'clock hour. I'm in the middle of taking on all of the Oscar stuff on Twitter that I would only know is happening if conservative Twitter wasn't like, why does anybody watch this? This is trash. I'm like, you're watching it. Stop watching it. Stop talking about it. I wouldn't even know what's happening.
I mean, I only saw this on Twitter, so
Yeah, same.
perfect experience.
I had to go into Twitter for work to find out that the Oscars were taking place, and then a fight broke out. And then Pujols signs
Right around the same time.
with it was like I told
Well,
my
he didn't
husband, I'm
actually
like,
sign, but the announcement came,
Yes.
right? The story came.
I was like, you can't do this all at once. Good deal, bad deal. Excited for St. Louis.
It can't be bad at $2.5 million. That's what was reported by Mark Feinsand from MLB.com. $2.5 million is no risk. It's no risk for a major league team. So
I feel the same way in my life
be-
about my business dealings.
that's how I feel on Saturdays anyway.
I'm like $25 for Texas Roadhouse. Are you kidding me? Yeah.
At that number, it can't be bad. Even if it goes badly, the risk is so small. Like there's just no downside at that number.
So my take on it is things that you've said, which I've used very much so to anchor me to common sense, because I want to float away into fantasy land and figure out how awesome 2022 is going to be if we were to sign Pujols. That the reality that this could go very poorly absolutely exists.
God, I hope not, but
the reality that it could be storybook, Kurt Warner, Rams, just, like a story that you're watching. You're like, this is going to be a movie. We're going to, and that now it's a movie. Did you see?
If it goes well, it would be a movie.
Yes. Wayno. Like Brad just said, I got to buy my tickets.
I just hope it's not a Hallmark movie. That would not be great.
I would never see it. I wouldn't even know
No, I
until
know.
people on Twitter start
Yeah, it's a good point.
complaining about it.
It's a
Almost
really
said a
good
different
point.
word. So you said $2.5 million is worth the risk. He's 21 homers away from 700, which is a huge mark.
Yeah.
There are so many other things that he's chasing as well.
Oh,
so
yeah,
it's not
yeah,
just
yeah.
it's not just the home
That's
run
the
thing.
big one, but yeah, there are all kinds of other ones.
If he plays this year and retires, which is kind of what everyone assumes, but he's not said that. Neither is his wife.
Yeah.
If he retires at the end, even the storybook experience for who will be an obvious Hall of Famer one day.
Yeah.
Does this kind of like blank out the entire Anaheim Angels part of his career where he is really just a Cardinal because we got the very best of him?
I think it's kind of that way even before he signed. I mean, let's be honest.
Mm-hmm.
He had some good years with the Angels, especially the first few. He was pretty good. But once the injuries really became chronic, it was hard to continue to produce. And when you get older and have injuries, as I unfortunately well know,
we all know the same. It's just on a different scale.
It just gets a little.
Nobody else knows.
Everything gets to be a little tougher, and when you're facing guys that are throwing harder than pitchers have ever thrown before, with pitches that are tailor made in laboratories, you combine that with injuries and getting older, and it's hard. But Albert found a niche last year. He found his niche playing against left-handed pitching for the Dodgers, and he crushed left-handed pitching.
He made himself marketable.
So
even in this state of,
and honestly, minus that time with the Dodgers, like if they hadn't done that and he hadn't had that performance, I'm not sure anybody would have offered him something. But in this modern game where we're talking about playing matchups on a regular basis, and something that Ali Marmol has talked about is playing matchups, whether it's fastball hitters versus fastball pitchers or left-right matchups or whatever. With him talking about that, you can see a fit. But obviously, the big thing is it's got to be that guy. Like Albert's got to be productive against lefties. Otherwise, fans are going to get upset.
As much as as much as the Dodgers fans love what the Dodgers are doing, they have a lot of other things to pay attention to on any given base. Like the St. Louis Cardinals, it sucks up a lot of the attention in the area. They pretty much liked Pujols, right? They pretty much enjoyed his time there and appreciated what he did. And
I know the team did. I mean, they probably were, not real thrilled with the amount of money they were spending the last 5 or 6 years.
The Dodgers?
No,
I'm
I'm sorry.
talking about the
Sorry. Yes, Angel. I was thinking you said just L.A.
I'm not talking.
Yeah. No, I don't think
story.
anybody in L.A. had a negative feeling about it. I mean, he was productive. The younger hitters loved him, and that's something that even in Anaheim they liked. The younger hitters loved him, and that's something that's going to be a big deal for the Cardinals too.
That was a question I said to my husband last night. Like, you got to think with some really great up and coming. We've got great defense on the field. It's a lot of young guys that are out there. Nolan Arenado made a comment when he came to St. Louis about his connection with Albert Pujols. Listen.
Albert Pujols, I love you, man. You're one of the greatest to ever play this game, and I hope you get to go out the right way. And, I'm just a huge fan, and I hope you hear this one day because you're my favorite player.
So Nolan Arenado sounding like a 12-year-old boy, and I know because I have one at home, about Albert Pujols. This opportunity for him to come and be impressionable on people who are excited to be impressed upon, I got to think that there's some value in that as well.
It has to be. I mean, you're probably not for guys like Arenado and Goldschmidt because they're established and they are what they are, and they have nothing that they need to learn. They just need to do their jobs. But everybody else, I mean, from Tommy Edman to Harrison Bader to Tyler O'Neill to Dylan Carlson to the minor league players that will eventually get called up to spend time at the big league club, the guys that'll get to be around him for the next week down in spring training. Sometimes, and it's not always, an active thing. It's not always like the player coming up and saying, "Come here, son, let me teach you something." A lot of it is observational. A lot of it is just watching how somebody goes through about their business. Watching how they prepare to get ready. Because the biggest difference between, like, say, AAA and the majors is the amount of time that goes into prep. I mean, don't get me wrong, they do that stuff in the minor leagues too, but not to the same extent that you do as a major league player. And when you get to watch, I mean, think about, this is something the Cardinals have been great at for generations now, but they always have fixed players that are anchors for what the franchise wants their young players to be. Adam Wainwright is that for all these young pitchers.
It's the Cardinal way.
It is. This is, if you wanted to define it, it's not a style of play. It's not, we're better than everybody. What it is really is passing along knowledge from one generation to the next. And Yadi's been doing that for young catchers forever. A kid that I coached since he was like, I don't know, maybe 10, 11, 12. Well, he's a Cardinals minor league catcher now. And his dad sent me a picture of him yesterday with Yadi and going over some things like, and you can't even like describe, I think, on the radio, like how much that means to those young players to get even the smallest of tips, the most simple interaction with somebody at the level of Yadi and Waino and Albert. It can change how they view everything.
Sure.
And, and by the way, just having that feeling of, my God, this guy's teaching me something.
Shut up and listen.
Pretty cool.
Yeah.
Right.
So for people who are super fans, they've been nerding out on this for quite some time.
Absolutely.
People who are Cardinals fans, I mean, to me, this is the type of thing that touches the whole base. You can nerd out on it, but if you are somebody who's been a Cardinal fan, this is just one of those nostalgic, hopefully more than just nostalgic, like good baseball moments. Pujols is not going to be Pujols of yesterday. We're going to see all of the ups and then the downs, not just the highlights that might make it our way back in the Midwest.
Not 2011.
When are the Cardinals going to play Pujols? And when he's not playing, for all the people who aren't studying it in detail, why isn't he playing?
Well, I mean, so the simple version of it is, I can't imagine a scenario where he's not your DH against left-handed pitching based on the roster that you'll have. Just that makes so much sense because he crushed lefties last year when he went to the Dodgers, and that's actually something that they could use. I mean, the only guys that would really fit that description at DH, the only guy that really would is a rookie, is Juan Yepez. And, he has never had in a major league at bat. So you're going from a guy that might be able to do it to a guy you've seen do it. And that's a pretty big difference. Although, again, we don't know for sure because, Albert crushed lefties for the Dodgers last year. He wasn't crushing lefties the last couple of years with the Angels. And maybe some of that is also the fatigue of being an everyday player. At his age, with the injuries that he's had, maybe playing 140 games is not a good idea. Maybe it's better if it's 90 games.
Yeah.
Maybe you're getting better production in a smaller window than you would if it was every day and you just had to battle with all the aches and pains and everything else. So you're going to see, I would think you'll see him against lefties. I would think you'll see him occasionally against righties, especially if the matchup works. And the team will know better than me what that is, whether it's guys that maybe don't throw 98 or maybe it's a certain type of pitch that's given him trouble. I haven't really studied up on it yet, but it'll be spots. I would assume he'll play against right-handed pitching too. And if he hits well, I think he gets more. Right? I mean, if he's
Injuries
going well, I think they give him more injuries
on the team. He's somebody who can put in there. If we're facing right-handed pitching and it gets down into the game, a great pinch hitter off the bench.
If you got a lefty pitcher coming out there in relief, he's a pretty good weapon to have late in a game.
Gosh, I just remember the home run, this 1998 season. I mean, it's, if you've been paying attention to baseball, hard to forget that. And I'm like internalizing this as hopefully we get to that. If he like the All-Star break, how many home runs do you want to see him have by then? 8.
I have no idea. I mean, like in a perfect world, 10 or 12 would
10
give you the
half.
shot at. Would give you the shot. Well, it's not
Right
exactly halfway through the season. It's a little further. But so I would say, yeah. I mean, if you're at 12 or 13 there, you might be getting to 700 in September. But a lot of it's going to depend on how he does. If he shows that he's better off against righties, maybe he's healthier or whatever. I mean, it's hard to reverse a trend that's been going on for 4, 5, 6 years. But if he's going well, I would imagine he'd get every opportunity to get there. But it's gonna be dependent on how he does.
I think it's good for St. Louis too.
For sure.
Outside of baseball,
just fun.
What he has done for this area and has never completely disconnected from his time away. I say in this moment, while everything still has the potential to be all puppies, rainbows, and sunshines, celebrate. We don't get a lot of those on the show. So
I wouldn't think so.
Excited?
Yeah. How could you not be? I'm going to be there on opening day. How could I not be excited about opening day with Yadi and Waino and Albert and the ovations that are going to, I mean,
do we know who's starting against us?
It might sound like the World Series when those guys are introduced.
Oh my gosh, I know. It's going to be.
And I can't see a scenario where Albert's not starting on opening day. He has to. I mean, look, I don't like to put the manager on a spot here, but I think Ollie probably knows that if Albert's not hurt, you got to have him in there on opening day.
I feel like maybe Yachty is telling Ollie. It's like,
and Waino and literally every other guy on the team.
Kevin Wheeler, thank you.
We'll see you.
You were one of the first people I thought of.
Yeah, because I'm absolutely wrong about it. I didn't think they were going to do it.
It's okay.
I'm
happy.
glad they did, though.
I'm happy you were wrong about it, and I'm glad you came in to talk to us about it. We'll talk to you again soon. Thank you for being in here. We appreciate it. Albert Poole is signing with the St. Louis Cardinals. He's back in St. Louis, and it can only go well, folks. That's what I'm saying out loud. Let's take a quick break. I think we're going to connect with Stephen Moore when we come back. We were going to talk to him at the beginning of the hour, and we're going to take a quick break here and get right back in it. And we're going to talk about Senator Manchin suggesting maybe that Build Back Better Lite might be something he'd be interested in. Don't go away. We'll be right back.
The Mark Reardon Show.
Brian Kilmeade, one of the things that we're hearing from the Ukrainians is that the chief tank manufacturer for Russia has run out of parts.
When you buy a tank from 1988, a lot of times Amazon has trouble delivering to a country you invaded.
On 97.1 FM Talk.
This is a great time of the year to upgrade the energy efficiency in your home with my friends at Window World. Mark Cox here to tell you more about my experience with Window World. They replaced a couple of windows at my house. They were just panes of glass. We wanted to be able to get some airflow into the master bathroom. They came out, they gave us a free estimate, and then had the windows at seams installed in no time. Very professional, lifetime warranty I get, and you get an extra double strength glass on their replacement windows that's not common. So you're getting a great price, simply the best for less. They do front entry doors, rear entry doors if you're looking to replace that back door or sliding glass door in your home. They've got a great selection at Window World. They're also right now offering 18 months, same as cash financing, of course, with approved credit. The preferred window of the St. Louis Blues, 314-993-1800. windowworld.com.
Are you a baby boomer with questions or concerns regarding your retirement plan? How about the future of U.S. tax rates and trends? Does your retirement portfolio fully support your income needs? I'm Ken Heisey of Heisey Advisory Group. I can help answer those questions and more. Register for one of our upcoming retirement workshops on Thursday, March 24th or Tuesday, March 29th from 6 to 8:30 p.m. This 2.5-hour workshop will cover 3 essentials: income planning, investment planning, and tax-efficient strategies. Call now to register at 314-328-6000. Again, 314-328-6000. If you have the slightest doubt about your retirement plan, or if you don't have a retirement plan, this workshop is designed for you. Seating is limited, so call now to register at 314-328-6000.
Heisey Advisory Group provides insurance services but may not give tax advice. Firm is not affiliated with the U.S. government. Investment advisory services offered through AE Wealth Management, LLC. Investing involves risk.
You're listening to the Annie Frey Show live from the Air Comfort Service Heating and Cooling Studios. Get in your comfort zone with a new HVAC system. Double carrier cool cash rebates for a total of $143 are available on qualifying new HVAC systems. For details, visit aircomfortservice.com.
You're listening to The Annie Frey Show. Follow Annie on Twitter at Annie Frey Show.
Democrats have been in denial about this bill. I think this is a place where I think Senator Hester and I agree, which is like inflation is people, again, talk about lack of memory. People do not remember in this country what it was like to have runaway inflation and have inflation that destroyed, was one of the main reasons that destroyed Jimmy Carter's presidency. Yep. If you look around the world over the last 150 years, there is nothing that spells political ruin more than inflation. And you've seen Democrats for the last year basically, it's going to be fine. It's transitory. It's going away. It's like, guys, it's the only thing everybody's worried about around the country.
NBC's John Heilman talking about how Democrats aren't really paying attention to what's actually going here. And when we've seen this happen before, we're not applying those principles to stopping it from happening right now. This, along with Biden's new billionaire tax. Ironically, you don't have to be a billionaire in order to qualify to have to pay this tax. Let's talk to our friend Stephen Moore, who joins us now, senior economic contributor at FreedomWorks. Stephen, thank you so much for calling us back. We saw you on Fox News in the middle of this hour. We're grateful we get some time with you today.
Do it, and I'm aghast at all these new taxes that Biden is talking about. Although, as I said on Fox News just a few minutes ago, I think these proposals hopefully are dead on arrival when they get to Congress. I don't understand the logic, Annie, of when we got a $6 trillion budget, when we have literally hundreds of billions of dollars of waste in the budget, fraudulent payments, duplication of programs, redundancy. You've got people receiving checks from the government that are not eligible for them. I mean, I could go on and on. Hundreds of billions of dollars stolen from the unemployment insurance system, from the PPP program, from Medicaid. All of these programs are so riddled with fraud. Why, before we talk about raising taxes on people, can you imagine a private company with that kind of fraud rate and doing nothing about it?
Yeah, but the private companies, they have to meet their own bottom line. I guess the government has an unlimited supply of money because they have to take it from us in order to do these things.
And by the way, if you raise taxes, then you're just encouraging them to waste money. And it's like nobody's watching, so we'll just keep wasting money and raise taxes on people. You got a $6 trillion federal budget right now. When I first came to Washington, the budget was closer to $1 trillion. And it is so maddening. Now, here's the other thing that's kind of interesting. China, which is our main competitor, they're cutting taxes, Annie. They just proposed last week a major tax cut. So I'm not so sure I like this, where we're massively raising our taxes and China's cutting theirs. How's that going to help America compete against China?
It's not. And sometimes I wonder if we are trying to compete smartly against China to begin with. Stephen Moore with us right now with FreedomWorks. Let me ask you this. You mentioned what China is doing there. Ask me about this, or talk to me about the strength of the dollar right now. We know what has happened to the ruble based on a lot of the sanctions that have been put against it, but also the Chinese dollar is pushing itself into the world stage here in a strong way. Is the American dollar where it needs to be?
Well, it's in jeopardy. If they're cutting taxes, we're raising them. If we're massively increasing our debt, as we've done, we now have a $30 trillion debt, and we're going to add another $2 trillion this year. That people lose faith in the currency, no question about it, Annie. And look, right now, the United States is the unrivaled, our currency. The dollar is what everybody wants around the world. But we shouldn't take that for granted. And incidentally, we're huge beneficiaries, of the fact that everyone wants dollars. So if foreigners start saying, well, we don't want dollars, we want yuan, come on. That is going to hurt our economy. I just want to get back to balanced budgets, pay your bills. I know this is kind of old-fashioned ideas. Keep taxes low. Let's have government that provides the essential services we need. There's tens and tens of billions of dollars of new social welfare spending in this bill, Annie. And guess what? COVID is basically over now, at least for now. So why do we should be cutting back on all these programs? These states, by the way, there's half of the states that have record budget surpluses because the government just keeps giving them this free monopoly money. And no, we're not on a good trajectory. And you're exactly right. This is the reason that inflation is out of control and the dollar is basically shrinking.
Yeah, and I think that with all of the other things taking place in the world stage right now, that this can get overlooked, but it's something that people are going to feel in their own homes and in their own pocketbooks very, very much so, very quickly.
Yeah, I guarantee you. I just paid $4.89 to fill up my tank. Under Trump, I was paying about $2.50, so almost double in 14 months. I mean, how do you screw things so up in 14 months, Annie? I mean, we left Biden a pretty healthy economy. I mean, we obviously were dealing with the last, stages of COVID, but the inflation rate when Trump left office was less than 2%. Now we're at close to 10%.
Yeah. And nothing really in place right now to rein that in.
No, nothing. I mean, the Fed did raise interest rates, but that was a kind of a Band-Aid on a cancer patient. And what I had hoped to see in this budget was hundreds and hundreds of billions of dollars of cuts cut. Let's cut every agency by 10%. I guarantee you, if you did that, they could find the way to save the money. Households do that, Annie. Why can't government do it?
Yeah, we don't really have a choice, because if you don't do that and you're out of sorts, they come take things from you. Nobody takes anything from the government. They just elect people back in who do more of the same. Stephen, I want to ask you about Senator Manchin's suggestion that he might be interested in participating in some sort of reconciliation on a super scaled back, Build Back Better. He wants to make sure that spending is taken back and we pay attention to our deficit. But I still get a little nervous when I hear that he's interested in having some sort of agreement.
Yeah, you and I both. I'm very nervous when I heard that story that Joe Manchin, who's really been the hero. And can you imagine, incidentally, how much inflation we'd have today if we'd passed that $5 trillion Build Back Better bill? I mean, can you imagine that? It was the most lunatic idea. And, now Manchin's saying, well, maybe we need a mini-me, version of this. And I'm like, no, we don't need a mini-me version of it. We don't need higher taxes. We need to get our spending under control and grow the economy, for goodness sakes. Let's produce American oil and gas and coal and all our energy and all of these things that can make America, as great as we were under Trump. I really believe we can do that. But I can't think of too many policies that Biden have put in place that have helped the economy. And I don't think they put America first.
I want to ask you one last question before we let you go, Stephen. Stephen Moore with us right now with FreedomWorks. President Biden and his administration continually blame rising costs on price gouging by these individual companies and these money-hungry CEOs. Are they right in any way, shape, or form to suggest that the companies are to be to blame for these rising costs?
Well, here's the thing. First of all, nobody in the Biden administration knows anything about business because they've never worked for business. Of course, businesses try to make money. That's what businesses do, right? If they can raise their prices, they're going to do that. That's not price gouging. That's just good business. If I can get more money to give a speech, I'm going to charge more.
Sure.
The same with you. So the idea that somehow this is all due to price gouging by companies. No, I mean, the price of oil and gas went down under Trump because when you produce more of something, Annie, what happens to its price? It goes down. So the irony of the Biden presidency, he hates the oil and gas companies, so he's slashed their output. Guess what? Because of the slash in output, their price has gone up, and the oil and gas companies are making more money than ever.
That didn't have the desired outcome, did it? That doesn't.
Exactly.
It's like they didn't think it through.
The opposite of what they wanted.
Well, I want to encourage people to check out your book, Govzilla, How the Relentless Growth of Government is Devouring Our Economy and Our Freedom. And I got to think that there's still time for good policy to rectify some of these things. But people got to know what's going on and be engaged, and your book is a great way for them to do that.
There you go. And by the way, I'm a Cubs fan, not a Cardinals fan.
Man, it's
good. Out to Wrigley Field.
I'll come up to Wrigley Field for a Cards-Cubs game, and we'll wear our jerseys. That would be so fun. Stephen, thank you.
You can wear red, and I'll wear blue.
That'd be ironic. Thank you. Bye-bye. Appreciate talking to you. At Stephen Moore on Twitter, give him a thank you and a go Cards. How about that? I mean, that's a way to get people to get on Twitter. Go Cardinals. Albert Pujols wearing the number 5 on the correct white and red jersey. Okay, so when we come back in the 2:00 hour, we have not spent much, barely at all time talking about the slap heard around the world. And if you heard that Muhammad Ali went on stage last night and slapped somebody, you'd be like, wait, what? That's not how that goes. But Will Smith goes on to stage at the Oscars last night and slaps comedian Chris Rock. Now, we're going to talk a little bit about who's right, who's wrong. Is anybody right? Is everybody wrong? But I also want you to vote in that Annie Frey YouTube live chat poll. You can go to the Annie Frey YouTube channel. We're live right there, right now. And in the live chat section, there's a question. You need to weigh in. Is there ever a right time to throw the first punch? Creeping up on 100 votes. We want yours. So please go vote there in the break and give us a comment as to why you voted the way you did. Brad, Brian, myself will weigh in a minute. Don't go away.
I promise. The St. Louis real estate market continues to make headlines for home sellers. Selling's easier, but finding your next home can be tricky. Hey, Mark Cox here. For the best real estate advice, get to know my friend and realtor Gloria Liu with Your Home Sold Guaranteed Realty. I know everyone knows a realtor. I know several as well, but I only endorse Gloria because of her proven track record. I've seen her systems, I've met her clients, and when it comes to getting you more money, Gloria is the only agent and team I would trust to sell my home. The secret is Gloria already has the buyers, thousands of buyers who are looking for homes in your area, your price range, and ready to buy today. This is how Gloria creates higher demand, multiple offers, and the most money for you. So take it from me. Call Gloria today at 314-325-6888. That's 314-325-6888, or visit GloriaHasTheBuyers.com.
The CFOs that get it, get it. The CFOs that don't. Behold the CFO, the Chief Financial Officer. This isn't some bean counter. Today's CFO is critical to the strategy, growth, and profitability of the business. But in growing companies, there are two kinds of CFOs. One who's struggling to keep up with spreadsheets everywhere, manual processes, errors, and lack of visibility into the numbers. It takes weeks to close the books. And one who's on top of their game. Automated reports, inventory, e-commerce, and HR flow into the financial model seamlessly. Insights coming with the click of a button. This CFO uses NetSuite by Oracle with visibility and control of your financials, inventory, HR, planning, and budgeting. NetSuite is everything you need to grow all in one place. That's why NetSuite is the #1 cloud financial system used by over 29,000 growing businesses. Like I said, the CFOs that get it, get it. The CFOs that don't. Head to netsuite.com/select for a special one-of-a-kind financing offer. netsuite.com/select. netsuite.com/select.
KFTK FM Florissant, driven by the Bomarito Automotive Group, 97.1 FM Talk.
An Odyssey station.
The ink's barely dry on Lisa Brady, Fox News. And already President Biden's budget blueprint is taking heat from the right and the left.
Senator Bernie Sanders says this: at a time when we are already spending on the military more than the next 11 countries, we do not need a massive increase in defense spending. But this budget could increase spending on social programs, too. It actually leaves a hole to be filled later for the cost of the social spending package.
Fox Business's Edward Lawrence at the White House to help pay for it. The president is proposing a minimum tax of 20% on households worth more than $100 million and an increase in the corporate tax rate. But the plan also assumes much lower inflation than the current rate. A proposal that's drawn national attention and criticism is signed in Florida, where Fox's Eben Brown is live.
Yeah, Lisa, Florida's new Parental Rights Act is now signed into law. Governor Ron DeSantis says Florida lawmakers were moved to act, hearing of how other states from California to Connecticut introduced kids as young as 5 to transgenderism.
This is inappropriate for kindergartners and first graders and second graders. Parents do not want this going on in their schools.
Speaking at a school in Spring Hill, north of Tampa, the law prohibits classroom instruction of sexual matters for young kids and would allow parents to sue the schools if they do. Lisa.
Thanks, Eben. Opponents argue the measure marginalizes the LGBTQ community. Ukraine's president signaling what's not on the table as Ukraine and Russia head for another round of peace talks.
Territorial integrity to Vladimir Zelensky means he will not give up the eastern section of his country, the Donbass region, or the land bridge to the Crimean Peninsula. Russia says now in phase 2 of this war, that is exactly what they want.
Fox's Mike Tobin in Lviv. Meantime, Ukrainian forces claiming they've retaken 2 towns, a Kyiv suburb and another in the east. America's listening to Fox News.
Finding great candidates to hire can be like, well, trying to find a needle in a haystack. Sure, you can post your job to some job board, but then all you can do is hope the right person comes along, which is why you should try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. ZipRecruiter doesn't depend on candidates finding you. Its powerful technology identifies people with the right experience and actively invites them to apply to your job. You get qualified candidates fast. So while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, ZipRecruiter finds you what you're looking for. The needle in the haystack.
4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate through the site within the first day. ZipRecruiter, the smartest way to hire. And right now, you can try ZipRecruiter for free. That's right, free. Just go to this exclusive web address, ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free. ZipRecruiter.com/free.
Air Comfort Service Heating and Cooling weather with Chief Meteorologist Dave Murray.
Keeping it quiet on this Monday afternoon, partly sunny skies, though it's still a little bit on the cool side, 55 degrees. Tonight, lots of clouds, 40 degrees. Tuesday, more clouds and sunshine. It's warm and windy Tuesday afternoon. Basically a dry day Tuesday, but 69-70 for the high. Best chance for rain and a couple of thunderstorms, non-severe, Wednesday and Wednesday night. This is 97.1 FM Talk, Chief Meteorologist Dave Murray.
Home warranty. I know, right?
Buying coverage for appliances, your heater and AC, etc. from a company that hopes you never ever have a claim or call. Let me introduce you to a real home warranty company, the kind that actually wants to help you. Upkeep Home Warranty and Maintenance. Upkeep visits your home 4 times a year to maintain your appliances and equipment. You will never get a lack of maintenance denial because Upkeep does the maintenance. Also nice, Upkeep assigns you one point person to help you. You won't be passed around like an office hot potato, and you won't get subcontractors. Upkeep does all their work, so there's no blame game. Just experts helping you. Visit upkeepstl.com today and type in 971 for $100 off. Don't be denied. Instead, be relieved. Upkeep Home Warranty and Maintenance, 636-387-7331.
Keep up your home with Upkeep. Keep up your home with Upkeep. Keep up your home with Upkeep, and you'll have a happy home.
So, a lot of what we're experiencing day to day as consumers is that sometimes you go to get something, acquire something, and it's not there because the supply chain's kind of screwed up a little bit. The truth also exists when it comes to making repairs on your home. And I was talking to Corey Malone specifically for my particular issue when we had our water heater go out. Corey Malone runs Air Comfort Service. He's a fantastic person with a beautiful, wonderful family. Air Comfort Service has been in business for over 53 years. And what he was telling me when we were making the purchase for ourselves is that the sooner you can make the decision to go take care of something like this in your home, the better, because sometimes they can't acquire the different things that they need. And it's just the same as everywhere else. Air Comfort Service has a huge reach and a wonderful ability to get you what you need and when you need it. But you need to reach out to Air Comfort Service to start that conversation, and the sooner the better. Call the people who I've trusted in my home for multiple issues: furnace, air conditioning, water heating, aeroseal duct sealing. They will take care of you in the exact same way that they came in and cared for our home in this installation. 314-513-0091, online at aircomfortservice.com.
Wealth-changing question. Is your investment portfolio really customized? Some advisors say they customize portfolios, but all they really do is ask you a few questions, then put all your money in a model portfolio. At Creative Planning, each of our private wealth management clients' portfolios is unique. Your investment mix will be based on your custom financial plan. If that's not how your money is managed, you aren't getting the customization you deserve. Book your free meeting today at creativeplanning.com. Creative Planning, a richer way to wealth.
Need to spring back into hiring season? You need Indeed, the smart hiring platform that delivers 4 times more hires than all other sites combined. According to Talent Nest, post a job and hire ASAP. Visit Indeed.com/credit.
Mark Cox here. If you're nearing retirement or already retired, call Thomas Helbig with the Retirement Advisory Group at 314-993-9494. He'll show you how to participate in the market gains without ever losing a penny. Thomas is the official financial advisor of the Mark Cox Morning Show.
There's a music station that fits your taste at Odyssey.com. Download the app for instant access to hundreds of music stations and listen live to 97.1 FM Talk. The Odyssey app. Download it or stream from 971talk.com. This hour of the Annie Frey Show is sponsored by The Loading Dock, Riverviews, outdoor dining, live music, and overnight accommodations. Visit GraftonLoadingDock.com.
That is exactly what I needed to hear.
Thank God someone here knows what you're talking about.
That's us. That's right. Gotta love this American ride.
Right, you need to take the time and get the full picture.
Come on, turn the radio on. It's Saturday and I won't be long.
Don't get me wrong, I love the ladies. I mean, they rev my engine, but they don't belong in the newsroom. It is Anchor Man, not Anchor Lady.
What do you want from me? I'm not America's sweetheart.
Goodness sake, kid. Keep your voice down. Your father's listening to the radio.
I'm not America's sweetheart.
This is the Annie Frey Show.
So the president of the United States is speaking right now from the White House on his $5.8 trillion budget. Is that what I saw?
5.3.
Oh, man. I almost gave him an extra $0.5 trillion.
Don't do that, Annie. We don't want to give him any more than he deserves, but he does deserve 5.3 for sure.
Hot
Fake
take
news.
At Radio Wiggins. Let him have it. So we had a lengthy debate in the studio as to whether or not we should just air this, and we decided not to. So your thank you notes and your hate mail, you can tweet him at Andy Frey Show. We're going to pay attention to what he's saying, and we're going to get the reaction to it. This is about the budget. And I will tell you that one of the things that I found very interesting is that his budget is going to fund the police and law enforcement more than it did previously. So he's not only not defunding the police, he's not refunding.
He's refunding the police.
He's extra funding the police, which is kind of an interesting thing. So that's a 5.8. That's
it does.
5.8.
They just changed it because it was 5.3. I swear.
I don't believe you.
I'm not kidding.
No way. On
yes.
Fox?
Yes.
I
on
have
Fox.
YouTube TV. I'm going to go back and look.
Please do.
Can you look?
That I can do.
No, don't do it.
You made me sound like I was wrong.
I swear that said 5.3.
What do you,
maybe there's something in front of half of the 8.
You keep putting your fingers on the home row like you've got something important to type and to study.
Well,
you're almost giving me you are giving me the vibe like, stop talking to me about right now. I have business to attend to.
Well, he's saying things in this that are it's almost as if he's repeating common leftist talking points more than he is creating a budget. It's just a bunch of nonsense stuff that doesn't have to do with this, but I guess it all requires spending.
Well, we're gonna follow up on that, and we're going to also figure out if Ryan is correct that Fox News
now I feel
screwed up.
I'm scared.
You corrected me.
I could have sworn it said 5.3.
What is the likelihood that it actually did say 5.3?
Look, I will bet against me. Right now. If there was money on it, I'm betting against
me.
Really?
Is it because you can see the screen?
Yes. I'm typing it.
No.
No, he's not typing anything.
I pulled it up already.
He's just hitting his keys, so it sounds like he's busy.
Just working on stuff here. Important Ryan Wiggins stuff.
So if anyone asks, we did cover this.
We sure did.
Well, some of us did. Some of us were trying to push fake news.
So at 3:02,
he started.
The Chiron said, Biden unveiling $5.8 trillion budget.
No. It's also completely within the realm of possibility that while I was moving and talking, that my eyes glanced on that and saw 5.8, and it was 5.3. So I completely believed you.
But
you led me astray.
It is his 2023 budget proposal, so it's possible.
Here's the deal.
So you're saying there's a 3. It also says 3:10 p.m. Eastern on there.
There you go.
You could have put
That's
that 3
probably what
there.
it was.
What the people need to know is that Ryan Wiggins always bets on a winner, and I bet on Andy Frey.
You're just trying to make promos with your voice, aren't you?
Yes.
You're going to hear that again on this station. I promise you.
All week.
Yeah. So we have a poll question out there, the YouTube live chat poll. Here's the question. Is there ever a right time to throw the first punch? So hopefully you two gentlemen have had a chance to think on this a little bit. We have 83 votes, and Hannah is reading these comments when they come in. So people are coming to the Andy Frey YouTube channel to vote on this poll. Is there ever a right time to throw the first punch? Yes or no? People are commenting, and she's flagging those comments, and she's going to come in and read some of them for us here later on in the show. So I'm going to get your reaction to this in a little bit. First, we got to talk about why we're talking about this instance. Who edited this sound?
Brad did.
And by Brad, he means himself.
Yes.
A lot of third-person talk
this
about
Brad
ourselves.
Right here. Ryan, you always bet on a winner.
Yeah. Ryan Wiggins always bets on a winner.
Okay. We're going to need to talk in the first person here on the radio show. People are going to get confused. And you're confident in your because the confidence that came with the 5.3 trillion before, I'm getting that same level of confidence from you that this is not going to get me in trouble with
I
the
believe
FCC.
there were 3 beliefs that I had to add.
Okay.
You trust him? Should I fire it?
I trust him about as much as I trust Biden spending $5.8 million. $1 trillion.
And by fire it, folks, I mean fire the audio.
I've
not
got a
fire
dump
Brad.
button.
All right.
We'll be fine.
Brad's got you.
Yeah, he hasn't had. This is the incident from the Oscars last night between Will Smith and Chris Rock.
Jada, I love you. G.I. Jane 2, can't wait to see it. All right?
Will Smith is laughing here.
That was a nice one. Okay. I'm out here.
Will Smith walks onto the stage, slaps him.
Wow. Will Smith just smacked the out of me.
Keep my wife's name out your mouth.
That's from the crowd that he yells that.
It was a G.I. Jane jump.
Keep my wife's name out your mouth.
I'm going to, okay? Okay. That was a greatest night in the history of television. Okay.
Nervous laughter ensues. So this hits Twitter last night and probably anywhere else that stuff is being shared. I had no interest in the Oscars, would have purposely avoided talking about the Oscars today because it always baffles me how much conservative Twitter gets onto Twitter to talk all about how bad the Oscars are. And I'm like, maybe if we just, the whole tree falling in the woods and no one hears it, let's let that be the tree falling in the woods.
Mm-hmm.
And all of a sudden it comes up on my Twitter feed here because I'm looking for stuff for work. And I see this instance where Will Smith marches and I'm like, oh my gosh, they're taking this stuff to the next level here, completely assuming it's staged. Thinking they did a pretty good job of making that look real. I am 100% convinced that this was real. And the reason why is if you have seen any of the video from this, when you hear Will Smith yelling from the crowd the second time and you see his face, you can tell, I can tell, he's an actor. I get it. But I think it is clear that you can see in his face that he knows he's snapped. There is like almost a twitch in his eye that shows that he is aware of the moment that he is in, that he has taken an action. He's already gone up and assaulted Chris Rock on the stage.
On national TV. In front of tens of people, in front of lots of people. And he knows what he did. And the way he delivered that line was to make sure that everybody understood that he was standing by his woman. The interesting thing about this that I find interesting is understanding a little bit about the Will Smith, Jada Pinkett Smith relationship. Jada has, you may know this, you may not know this, a thing called Red Table Talk. Is that what it's called? She has a red table. She invites people in and they talk about things. It's essentially a podcast and they talk about all sorts of things. Will Smith has come to that table and they've had conversations about their marriage. They have an open marriage. They have both talked about in the past infidelities that they have had towards each other, where they have now gotten to the point now where they're just like, let's be married and let's be able to be with other people. So the open marriage thing is very public. It's what they've chosen to do with themselves. But you might remember the one time that Will Smith, I remember covering this kind of unfortunately so that we were lending the time, but Will Smith was talking to Jada about Jada's relationship with the member of a band. Was it? I can't remember who it was. Somebody will comment on the live stream who it was. And she said that she had an entanglement with this person. And Will looks at her and goes, an entanglement? Like if you Google the word entanglement, you're going, Will Smith and Jada Smith are going to be at the top of the search on that. These people do not have a traditional marriage. Far be it from me to tell anyone else how to have a happy life. We all know how to finish that sentence. How to live in a marriage and get the most out of it. But I'm pretty certain that in my experience of being married, the way to be the happiest is to give the most of yourself to the other person and to have the confidence that that's what you're getting back from that person. And the idea of an open marriage to me ceases to be a marriage at all. When Jada is, if you watch her on her Red Table Talk or whatever, you've seen clips from her, she is the epitome, in my mind, of the culture we live in right now, which is I worship myself. And Jada, I'm not calling Jada out like she's the one. This is the way everybody in Hollywood as a whole embodies, whatever the movement is, this idea that I'm okay, you're okay, we're all okay. If everybody's okay, stop trying to sell us everything under the sun so we can improve ourselves, because that's what Hollywood does, right? If they're on an ad, if they're endorsing something, they're selling you something so that you can have something better. But if we're all okay, then we don't need any of your crap to make ourselves better. We worship ourselves and our own happiness. And in pursuing happiness, no pun intended, didn't do that on purpose, in the pursuit of happiness with an I, not a Y, We worship ourselves. And when we worship ourselves, it is the number one way to make sure that we never achieve actual happiness. And in the absence of happiness, we have bitterness. And when there is bitterness, I think you have what took place last night at the Oscars. I said last night on Twitter, we should pray for Will Smith sincerely. And it was such a bizarre thing to solicit some of the comments that I got back. But I think it's really an important thing that we should be discussing. The suggestion that praying for somebody somehow has something to do with who's right and who's wrong. And that there are some people who are not within the realm of benefiting from the idea of prayer. One person, I said, my tweet was, pray for Will Smith tonight, sincerely. I'm not going to read these people's names. You can go on my Twitter and find them, but I'm not really going to give them the platform for it. And I think that they actually speak for a lot of people who think this way. This person just said, why? And I said, you don't think he looks like a man in need of prayer? And the responses are kind of shocking. People who are under the impression that just because Will Smith was in the wrong, like, no, you should be praying for Chris Rock. Why? So that the ice makes his face feel better? Will Smith looks like a very broken man at, honestly, probably his lowest public moment in front of a huge audience. Because, and I'm not talking about the people who are tuning into the Oscars. It's the only thing people are talking about the Oscars. He won Best Actor, and I am pretty confident that if he weren't going to win Best Actor, he would have been told to leave. What do you do if Will Smith wins Best Actor for King Richard, which was the film, which I now know that he was in, which I now know was about the Serena and Venus Williams sisters. I didn't know any of that. What do you do if the guy who wins Best Actor isn't in the building because he assaulted somebody on stage before? That's a really weird, awkward moment. Here's a comment. How about we pray you take the blinders off, learn to see things for what they are. However, if you exercise your free will to be easily deceived, that's on you. That was a suggestion. Someone said, oh, please, it was staged, like Janet Jackson's wardrobe malfunction. It's for ratings, nothing more. I don't think that's the case. Comment after comment after comment. Somebody said prayers and jail time. And I said both are warranted, because I do think that if somebody from the audience would have gone up and slapped Chris Rock, don't you think they'd be like tackled on the stage?
Oh, yeah. There's no question. There's no question.
Will Smith gets to do it and sit down and later win Best Actor?
I mean, that's a weird debate, because to me, what we're watching is so surreal that I don't know what to make of it. When I saw it this morning, and please let us know if you haven't seen this, because this seems like something that everybody in the entire world has seen.
Sure. Yeah, let us know in the YouTube chat
if you haven't seen it. But my only reaction to this thing has been, wow, this is very entertaining. And that's I mean, there's a lot of things to take away from it, but for me personally, I just thought, man, this is some high drama at the Oscars. And then if they would have thrown him out, that almost would have been more dramatic and more entertaining. So my only advocacy is for the entertainment value of the Oscars, because this stuff is so ridiculous. And your assessment about Will Smith is right. It's weird. These people, they're such big names, and you watch them and you watch their public personas.
They're real people.
They're real people. And you have these opinions of them, but you're like, I don't know if it's accurate. But all of the things you were saying about him, I've also thought, I mean, all the stuff about the open marriage, I'm like, these people look freaking miserable all the time.
We're all supposed to see them and idolize them and aspire to be them and be as cool as they are and as rich as they are and as connected as they are. And I don't want any of that. What's going on behind closed doors in Will Smith's life, which we know a lot about because they talk about it all the time. I'll take my Midwestern apple pie existence that is, just a scratch. I mean, I would say I feel pretty normal. I forget that I do have a talk show and I am talking to people. So I have like, I have like a fraction of a millimeter of notoriety here in this small country, in this small portion of the country. I say, pray for Will Smith tonight, sincerely. This guy says, why? I said, you don't think he looks like a man in need of prayer? This is the response. I don't see why. He has suffered no punishment for what he did. He chooses to stay in this bad marriage and not for religious reasons. Those are all great reasons to pray for Will Smith. If you see somebody and you see that they're hurting, Chris Rock, no, there are people, I've seen people in our YouTube chat who think that what Will Smith did, defending his wife, was the right thing to do. So I know that thought exists out there. But I don't think Will Smith is a happy man. And I think that last night was supposed to be a crowning achievement in his entire career. And he made a bad decision. And he sullied that to the point where there is an advocacy out there right now that he should have his Oscar removed from him because he's violated the Academy's code of ethics. It'd be hard for me to say that that's not right. Is that what should happen? I have no idea, and I don't actually care. But I'm interested in what you guys think. I'm going to get Brian's response. I didn't do that on purpose.
Yes,
Brad and Ryan's response when we come back. And we're going to talk a little bit about that poll question. You guys get to react to what your reaction was to. You get to react to your reaction to what you thought about last night. But I want to hear also your thoughts on our YouTube live chat poll. Is there ever a right time to throw the first punch? And if there is a right time, in what scenario might that be? 92 votes right now on the Annie Frey YouTube channel. Come weigh in. Drop your vote, yes or no, about throwing the first punch, and we'll get your comments as well. So stick around. More Annie Frey Show in just a minute.
You're listening to the Annie Frey Show. Find the podcast, on-demand audio, and more at 971talk.com/Annie.
Mark Cox here. You know, school board elections are quickly approaching, and I want to help you make the right choice for you and your children. Listen to the Mark Cox Morning Show, where we'll interview candidates and discuss the most important issues, 5 to 9 a.m. on 97.1 FM Talk.
Attention investors. How would you like to collect a government-backed check with secured double-digit returns in as little as 21 days? The tax lien code is going to expose the best-kept secret in real estate investing in a free 20-minute Kickstart video. Text the word INVEST to 26022 now and let their free video show you how to earn government-backed returns up to 25% with as little as $50, or how to invest in tax-delinquent homes that are 50% off market. Plus, see how you can access private tax lien inventory not available to the public. So if you want to become a real estate investor that buys tax liens from the comfort of your own home, then text INVEST to 26022 now and get your free Kickstart video. Text INVEST to 26022 right now, and you'll get free tickets to attend a live training in the St. Louis area that will include your VIP tax lien bidder number, a power bank charger, and a tax lien investor kit free to all attendees. So text INVEST to 26022. That's INVEST to 26022 for your free Kickstart video.
I mean, it's springtime right now, and it's not quite as warm outside as it should be. And I'm going to file a complaint about that. But until that comes back and it does get warmer, you've probably been outside and looking at your siding and looking at the appearance of your home, noticing the places where it's just really not holding up to snuff. Lakeside Renovation and Design can handle the exterior of your home in its entirety, and they're the best in the business. Lakeside Renovation and Design.com is the website. When you go there, you're going to learn about opportunities for 0% financing. It's a really big deal, of course, when you're doing a big project for your home. The longer you can make it same as cash, the better it is for your pocketbook. And I know you like to make smart financial decisions. This also includes their Infinity from Marvin fiberglass window replacement. When you want the very best for your house, same as I've said before, the Marvin fiberglass window folks, they know that Lakeside is the best. That's why they say, here is our great product, and we're exclusively allowing you to install this in people's homes because we trust you to do it. You can trust Lakeside Renovation and Design as well. Your phone call to them to get the conversation started, 636-978-5000. That's 636-978-5000. Find them online right now at lakesidерenovationanddesign.com.
Find podcasts for your passions on Odyssey.
Like the documentary series Love Thy Neighbor about the 1991 Crown Heights riots.
It was an accident which other people used as an excuse to murder one member of our community.
Or The 11th.
Bringing you true, unexpected stories.
And experience the new podcast movie thriller Ghostwriter.
Starring Kate Mara and Adam Scott.
Maybe it's not a whodunit. If we know who the killer is all along, the real mystery is why.
Find all the podcasts that matter to you in a universe of audio.
Odyssey.
If you're considering an annuity as part of your retirement plan, we need to talk. Hi, I'm Bob Stockdale, Senior Vice President Investments with the ClearPath Wealth Management Group at Stifel and host of On the Money Saturday mornings at 11 on 97.1 FM Talk. Annuities can be a useful tool for some retirement investors, but not all annuities are created equal. Every week, we meet clients who own complex annuities that don't suit their needs and, in some cases, actively undermine their retirement plan. Before you purchase an annuity, get a second opinion from the ClearPath Wealth Management Group at Stifel. Requesting a consultation is free of charge. To request a free consultation, contact us at clearpathinvesting.com. That's clearpathinvesting.com, or call us at 636-695-2650. That's clearpathinvesting.com or 636-695-2650. Stifel Nicholas and Company Incorporated, member NYSE and SIPC.
Research shows that people remember radio ads with a booming voice that emphasizes all the main points. So to help you remember that Liberty Mutual Insurance Company customizes your home insurance so you only pay for what you need.
That part is super important.
Here's one with a booming voice.
I'm emphasizing everything.
Liberty Mutual customizes your home insurance.
Like a page with every word highlighted.
Only pay for what you need at libertymutual.com.
Liberty, 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 liberty. Liberty, 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 liberty.
Dell's semi-annual sale is the perfect opportunity for a significant business upgrade. Save up to 45% on Dell computers with Windows 11 Pro and get an easy start to your workday. Plus, enjoy special pricing on Dell docks, monitors, servers, and more, all with easy financing options through Dell Financial Services. Speak to a Dell Technologies advisor today to find the right tech for your business with fast free shipping. Call 877-ASK-DELL. That's 877-ASK-DELL.
Right about now, the Funk Soul Brother. Check it out now, the Funk Soul Brother. Right about now, the Funk Soul Brother. Check it out now, the Funk Soul Brother. Right about
This
now,
is the Annie Frey Show.
check it out now.
Interact with Annie on Facebook. The Annie Frey Show.
Soul Brother. Right about now, about now, about now, about now.
Welcome back to the Annie Frey Show. Talking a little bit of Chris Rock, Will Smith last night. So after Will Smith hauls off and slaps Chris Rock, the slap was kind of a weird choice. Do you think that shows restraint?
Yes, I do.
I kind of did too. And it was, I said that a little bit on Twitter last night, and they're like, kind of a weird moment to go, I should ease up a little bit here.
It's weird because it wasn't like, because when you say slap,
it looked like a manly slap.
What comes into your mind is somebody taking off their glove finger by finger and being like, I am offended by you, sir.
A soap opera slap.
Yeah, something like that.
Followed by a wine in the face.
This was almost
awesome.
like a UFC open-handed punch.
They don't open-handed UFC.
Yeah, you know what I mean, where they close the knuckles a little bit, but it's kind of...
That's called punching.
Is that still a punch?
When you close...
It's not quite a punch.
Oh,
It's
you're
not a
saying
fist
like when you
punch.
hit him with the palm.
Yeah, he didn't... It looked like he was ready to actually punch him, but just left his hand open.
Some of the slow-mo video that I've been analyzing does show spit flying out of Chris Rock's mouth.
So he got him.
Oh, yeah.
I mean,
people are still saying, like, I still think it looks fake. There's nothing. Everything else that I see, I'm like, that is definitely real.
I think the key to knowing whether it was real or not is seeing Chris Rock's reaction to it.
He is a champ. We got
Yes.
to talk about that for a second. Wait, no. You got to talk about it. Brad, you first. Your thoughts on the whole issue. I don't want to railroad
Okay,
your
so
whole thing.
so the very first thing we were talking about the slap. Is that some sort of restraint? No, I think that was intentionally disrespect. I would rather get punched than slapped. I'm serious.
Man, I tell you what, dudes.
It's weird, but I
Women
think
out there right now are like, I hear you, Annie.
I think that there's a slap to it that's like, not only am I slapping you, you're not even worth me punching you because I don't have to punch you because you're not strong enough to stand up to it.
Ryan? I'm going to slap you or punch you. Which do you want?
From you? I guess if you want to go ahead and just punch me real hard in the chest, that'd be fine. Just get it over
In
with.
the chest?
In the
Yeah.
shoulder.
If I punch you, I'm not punching you in the chest.
Just right there.
I'm punching you in the gut or across the face. And I do know how to throw a punch.
Okay.
Probably better than I know how to slap, honestly.
Well, then between those two, I would prefer you slap me in the gut.
Pink belly.
Come here, Ryan. Again, dudes, I tell you what.
Yeah. No, I don't really have any great hot takes from last night, other than that it really, honestly, for me, was super, super entertaining. I mean, I think there are a lot of people out there, because you get on Twitter instantly and it's like, oh, what are people saying? There are so many people who are so incensed by this, personally offended by something, whether it was Chris Rock or the joke or Will Smith and any of it. They were personally, and not the way that we're talking about it, where it's like, this speaks into something larger, but they're personally offended. Like, I don't get how you are that offended by this.
This just in from Fox News 3 minutes ago. Academy condemns Will Smith's actions. That's good, because they condemned everything else for the entirety of the program. So I heard, because I didn't watch it. Launching formal review of Chris Rock's slap. What does that even look like?
Yeah.
We've all formally reviewed it. More than we reviewed any of the movies that were actually being awarded at the Oscars last night. This is the most reviewed thing that exists in the world right now. And there's a war going on.
And that's my point, is that this 40 seconds of video was probably watched more than any movie that they talked about last night. That's what's amazing. And that's the entertainment world, to me, is fascinating at times. And watching this play out is that.
We have officially started a formal review around the incident, and will explore further action and consequence in accordance with our bylaws, standards of conduct, and California law. They're going to make him watch his own Aladdin. That's what they're going to make him. So bad. I was mad in the theater when I saw that.
Do you want the Academy to pursue punishing him?
I do not care.
Right?
All. I care none. Like, will I cover it here? Not on purpose.
It'll come up, because everybody will know it. Whatever
There's
happens,
a
everybody's going to know.
slow news day.
Yeah.
I'm going to shuffle some papers, and I'll be like, so you remember that thing? This is not going to be forgotten. This is like legendary Hollywood stuff. So here, this is a question for you first, Brad. Did Will Smith have any right to defend his wife's honor against Chris Rock that way?
That way? No.
Ryan?
I don't think so.
Hesitation.
I don't think so. I mean, if it was purely just him being so offended on behalf of somebody else that it was that selfless, you'd say there's something chivalrous about that.
PR lesson here, folks. If that joke was as offensive as, I'm going to say, Jada took it, and everyone's like, Will Smith thought it was funny first, because you can see he makes a joke and Will Smith is laughing. Listen, these people are all, it's very common for comedians to come up and to make fun of the people sitting in. That is part of it. And I very much so believe that there is a trained reaction to that, where you want to be a good sport. You know what that laugh looks like before you even hear the joke, and you do your best to be a good sport about it and move on. I think that that's what Will Smith was doing. I think 90% of the people who are getting made fun of out there don't like the joke. If it were up to them that it was going to happen or not happen, they're all super sensitive people. I also think that it's important that we remember that they are humans too, but you're in a super high profile position. Folks, on a microscopic level, I will get criticized for things that have nothing to do with my opinions. The clothes that I wear, the weight that I am, the way I do my hair, whether or not I'm wearing glasses a particular day, how I dress, how I spoke too loud in one segment, or I didn't bring enough emotion and I'm throwing the country away because I'm not being Republican enough or something. Listen, I do what I do. I'm doing the best that I can. It is not perfect. It never will be. I'm going to keep trying every day to show up here and do my best. Part of me being here involves people not liking what I'm doing when I'm here. And if there's somebody out there who's trying to come to get me, then at least they know that I exist. This is the peak. This is the pinnacle. The Oscars, of all things Hollywood, this is the top tier. There are people sitting out there who would love for someone to make a joke about them so that the world would hear their name. It's a pretty egocentric, narcissistic thing, but that's part of what, we always say you have to have a massive ego, a little bit of narcissism to run for politics. It's the same thing if you're going to be in movies. You literally want your face to be in front of everybody in the world. That's what success looks like to you. The joke was about his wife who has alopecia. She's losing her hair. She's going to be bald. She'll probably wear wigs. Maybe she won't. But you have a choice in that moment. And Jada was the one who looked super offended pretty much immediately. And that would have been an opportunity for her to if she wanted to make the choice, she was wearing a ridiculous gown. It was very beautiful, very fashionable, whatever, but it was massive. That would have been an opportunity for her to stand up, put her hands on her hips, run her hand on her bald head, and point back to Chris Rock and be like, this is beautiful, and I have no shame in it whatsoever. And it would have been a moment where she would have turned something like that into a net positive for her. And after the fact, if somebody asked her about it, she could say, you know what? I have alopecia. I have a condition that's causing my hair to do this. I did not shave my head for some, surface level reason to try to make it so that people could see that this was a choice of mine. I don't have a choice in this issue, but I choose to celebrate it. And I want people to know about this condition because that was a hurtful comment to me, but I'm proud of this and I'm shaving my head. And that's why I chose to come here tonight the way I did. And she could have done something in that moment for other people who are suffering the condition that she is suffering, but they didn't choose to do that. They made a bad choice in a moment and they made it based 100% on emotion and not a lot on an intellectual response to it. And they missed a huge opportunity. It's easy for me to Monday morning quarterback that.
You know who didn't miss a huge opportunity, though, is Chris Rock. Chris Rock had the opportunity to escalate that situation.
Didn't he kind of mumble under his breath? He said something like,
he's
yeah.
Okay. And you could hear him collect himself. You see him look off to the side. I'm assuming he's looking at
He handled it so well.
What a professional.
Is it different to you if Jada gets up and slaps him?
Yeah. Still wrong. And I would still criticize it. But the joke was about her. Now, people will say there was a chivalrous tint to what took place. Will was standing by his woman and standing up for it. As far as masculinity in the traditional sense being the type of thing that you can rely on to protect the woman. That's not very feminist. She should have been the slapper. Power to the women or whomever identifies.
Yeah. It's a good question. Because
yes. If she would have done that, no. Flip this. What if Wanda Sykes would have said it? And what if Will Smith would have gone on there and slapped her across the face? People would have been mad because you never hit a woman. Well, A, what the hell is a woman? And B, why not? Why can't you hit a woman? Because the man is stronger than the woman? Because there's some sort of gender norm there that you understand that a man's physical stature causes them to have a different set of biology that makes it so that they shouldn't be in a competition like that, where the woman is on the receiving end of the biological inferiority that they have? I'm just saying. Wanda Sykes needs to make some jokes and we just can see what happens.
That's exactly where I was going with that. Because there are so many things that so many people are saying that you're like, you know what? None of what you're saying stacks up in other situations. You just react to the situation. You have no sort of grounding in anything. They're just reacting to the way the wind blows at any given moment.
Over 100 votes right now. Is there ever a right time to throw the first punch? Hannah's going to come in here after this break and tell us what some of you have been saying about this very issue and get your votes in. There's still time. It goes until the end of the show. And honestly, it may go even later. Do you know? I don't know.
Not for sure.
I should know.
I've not made a poll on YouTube.
Ryan, what do you think?
Of when the poll ends?
I just was wondering if you were still listening. Okay. How much was that Biden budget? How much was it?
$5.8 trillion.
Trillion.
Because I think I also said million at one point accidentally.
Wow, what a win. We should have carried that speech then. Go vote on the YouTube live chat poll. We'll be right back.
The Annie Frey Show is streaming online. Watch us live on YouTube and subscribe.
One of the things that we're hearing from the Ukrainians is that the chief tank manufacturer for Russia has run out of parts.
When you buy a tank from 1988, a lot of times Amazon has trouble delivering to a country you invaded.
On 97.1 FM Talk.
Is your home, business, or church looking tired, chalky, or in need of curb appeal? Go Rhino. Tired of painting year after year? Go Rhino. Our unique 3M ceramic technology is perfect for brick, stucco, aluminum, steel, color lock masonite, and more. It's backed by our 25-year transferable warranty to not chip, crack, or peel. Great if you're staying, and even better if you're selling. Our ceramic coating allows you to maintain all of your architectural features. The decision to do vinyl will leave your home looking like a plastic moldy box. With Rhino Shield, in 15 years, your home will still have that, wow, it looks like you just got it painted. We've done large condo complexes, parking garages, pole barns, and commercial strip malls. We coat sloped and flat roofs to extend their lives too. Evaluations are free. 877-25-RHINO or 877-25rhino.com. See what we did there? Genius. Tell them, ladies.
Don't paint, don't Rhino, go Rhino Shield. Never paint your house again. Rhino Shield.
You say tomato, and I say tomato. Everyone is different. We have different fingerprints, different jobs, different homes, different personalities. We speak differently, think differently, spend differently, and save differently. Why wouldn't our dreams for retirement be different? At Heisey Advisory Group, we help our families put together the many pieces of the financial puzzle to provide a clear plan for the future, embracing the uniqueness of an individualized plan. Take advantage of scheduling your initial strategy session and going through our retirement roadmap review process to see if your retirement dream is within reach. Call 314-328-6000 and schedule your complimentary retirement roadmap review with our team. That's 314-328-6000. Again, that's 314-328-6000.
Heisey Advisory Group provides insurance services. Investment advisory services offered through AE Wealth Management, LLC. Investing involves risk, including the potential loss of principal.
Men, do you feel embarrassed in the bedroom because of ED or PE? Would you like to be the man you used to be? Paramount Men's Medical Center has the solution. 98% of patients experience a positive result from the treatment in just 10 minutes after just one office visit. Listen to Dr. Schwartz, a specialist in men's health.
Paramount Men's Medical Center offers custom blended medications for ED or PE designed just for you. There's no pain or surgery. If you have diabetes, high blood pressure, or prostate issues, not a problem. If Viagra, Cialis, or Levitra have let you down, not a problem. Now men are lasting 30, 60, 90 minutes or longer, and it's affordable.
Contact Paramount Men's Medical Center to schedule a private consultation. 314-720-8254. You'll see results on your first visit guaranteed or pay nothing. Call 314-720-8254. 314-720-8254. That's 314-720-8254.
Hi, this is Curtis Barks. I am the owner of Complete Auto Body and Repair, here to tell you about our touchless automotive service. If you're experiencing the constant struggles of having the kids home from school or just want more of that family time where you can listen to them teach you about what they do every day, we provide touchless automotive service, return the vehicle to you clean and ready to go in the comfort of your own home. Check us out online at CompleteAB.com for more information. If it's not perfect, it's not complete. Others can't compete with Complete Auto Body.
Dad, and service.
Oh yeah, and service.
He fixed the car.
You're listening to the Annie Frey Show live from the Air Comfort Service Heating and Cooling Studios. Air Comfort Service is celebrating 53 years of residential and commercial service, maintenance, and installation of heating and cooling systems. Get in your comfort zone. Visit aircomfortservice.com.
Up-to-the-minute traffic reports, so you don't have to keep looking at your phone. Dependable traffic on 97.1 FM Talk. Driven by Ambassador Midwest Floor Company, the best way to deal with in-home traffic. Experience more at Ambassador Midwest Floor.
Well, I got a woman way over town that's good to me. Oh, yeah.
This is the Annie Frey Show. Follow Annie on Twitter at Annie Frey Show.
Good to me.
Missy on Facebook messages the show and says, Chris Rock can tell me I look like Demi Moore in G.I. Jane anytime. She was hot.
Is that who was in G.I. Jane?
Yeah.
Demi Moore?
Yeah.
I barely remember that movie.
She actually shaves her head on in
the
movie. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
Great film.
G.I. Jane?
Yeah.
I wouldn't know. It's a GIF, though. The shaving. You can see it on Twitter.
Okay.
Hannah, hi. Welcome.
Hello.
So you've been monitoring the YouTube poll?
Yes, we've gotten a ton of comments.
So report on the poll and let us know what people have to say.
Okay, so we've had 103 votes on the poll, and the question is there ever a right time to throw the first punch? Options, yes or no. 77% of people said yes, there is the right time to throw the first punch, and 23% of the people say no, there is not a good time to throw the first punch.
Does that surprise you?
It does. I thought it'd be closer to 50-50, if not leaning a little bit toward no.
Ryan, is there ever the right time to throw the first punch?
If it's a literal punch, if we're not talking about it being symbolic of something else, we're not talking about foreign policy, we're not talking about anything else. We're talking about a punch.
No, I'm talking about
A punch.
exactly what we're...
Yeah.
Gosh.
Because we use the phrase a lot to describe other things.
Brad, is there ever the right time to throw the first punch?
Yes.
When?
It's whenever you are defending yourself and you're in a situation where the difference between you escaping and you getting pummeled is by knocking somebody off balance and getting out of the
You're
situation.
buying time.
Right.
Ryan, do you want to answer the actual question?
I will say I can't think of one, because in that example, to me, you're not actually throwing they were going to punch you. You know, like you're already being
So
punched.
you punch him first?
Yeah.
Which would be the question.
Which would be, I guess, if you want to get really technical, that situation.
No, there's nothing technical about it. That's the
Yes or
first
no?
punch.
Okay.
Because
in
what
that
if you
situation,
you
yes, then so
anticipate
yes.
incorrectly? What if they're just trying to do, like, let's go, man, bring it on, but they don't actually intend to punch you. They're just trying to intimidate you, and you infer. I can't imagine you doing that, but expecting correctly that they're going to punch you, so you jack them in the face.
Well, the situation that Brad's describing is one in which I'm picturing one person in an alley cowering in the corner, 4 people walking up to him with chains. And then you deciding, okay, I got to do something. That situation, yes.
Yeah. It could be Ryan, they don't have to have chains.
That would be a situation where you could throw the first punch.
Yeah.
So you would vote yes.
So I would vote yes.
Gosh, I'm glad we arrived.
It took
at
me
this.
that long to hear a situation in which I would do that, though. Because most situations, I would not say yes.
That's a Ryan thing.
You know what I did? How I came to that decision is because it's the same. I have my concealed carry permit, and I don't wait. I don't want to have to wait. I have it for self-defense for my safety, right? I don't want to have to wait for somebody to throw the first punch in a life or death situation, right? So if you have your concealed carry weapon, you have to be able to perceive when your life is in danger, and then that would be a justified time to pull your weapon and shoot someone.
But we're not talking about.
But we're not
weapons.
talking about that.
But you do have to have you have to be able to read situations.
But you can take that same principle and
level it down.
Yeah.
We've had a lot of people comment.
Hold on, let me read this one real quick. STL Life says, I can't picture Ryan hitting someone, LOL.
Ask my younger brother that.
I can picture it. I think it's pretty funny.
Have you ever punched somebody? Like punched?
I can't say that I've ever been in a hard fight.
Depends on what you mean by punched. If you mean like threaten war,
like your hand open with your knuckles curved down a little bit.
Only 3 of the 4 knuckles. Because if the 4
hey, when I asked
there,
that question though, then Brad jumped to, well, in a theory, throw the first punch in quotes, and I'm like, that's exactly what I was doing. Is taking it figuratively.
I don't think I put quotes up.
You did. You did like this.
You did put quotes up.
Thank you.
Okay.
But you were talking about the difference between the two. I can understand why Ryan thinks that, but I still disagree with it. So Hannah, tell us what the audience is saying here.
Eric from YouTube says, throw it at the moment when you know it's going south, but before the other person realizes you're already at the point of punching. Gary from YouTube says, when you are being threatened with
imminent. That's not how you spell it, but imminent.
Physical harm.
Imminent domain.
Yes,
you can do
by
anything
all
you want.
means,
The government
throw
says
the
it.
first punch to protect yourself. Doug from YouTube says, throw that punch in self-defense. Better to hit first than to be stabbed or shot.
That's true.
That's what I'm saying. I'm agreeing with that.
Well, that's a yes vote.
That's a yes vote.
Yeah.
Dale from YouTube says, easy. When you are dealing with someone with nothing to lose, you have to hit first.
I also like the idea that if somebody's coming at me with guns, knives, and chains, I'm going to be like, all right, let's go. As if I got a chance of just punching one of them and getting out of it.
Well, the alternative is just to take it.
Yeah, I guess so.
I like this comment.
What do you do?
It warms my soul to see Brad actually be in the studio with the double facepalm reaction to Ryan that he had before he came on the show and would watch me.
Well, which one do you go after? Do you go after the guy with the knife, the gun,
Ryan,
or the chain?
Ryan. You're humorizing a situation that would not be humorous, but only for the sole purpose of trying to make Brad's scenario look ridiculous. But in the event you were in A, an alley, B, with 4 people coming to attack you with weapons, you're trying to make it seem funny that you might be willing to throw a punch first.
I know that it sounds funny, but when guys have these conversations and ask a question like, who would win in a fight between Andre the Giant and a bear? Those kind of questions sound stupid. However, every guy goes, man, I don't know. I got to think about that.
But you're not doing that.
This isn't that ridiculous.
Yeah, no.
That's a ridiculous situation. What you're doing is saying, which one would you take out first? I don't know. I'd have to see them. But that is a decision that I'm going to have to make in that situation.
Also,
so it's not ridiculous.
Brad specifically said in the scenario that he was not doing it to overpower and defeat said people. He was going to throw a punch to get away. He was buying time.
Yeah, which was my question. Which one do you pick?
I hate it when we explain to him why he's wrong. He's like, that's what I'm saying. I'm like, it's not what you're saying.
And he's doubling down.
It's not, I mean, but he's doing it on purpose. I see it happening in front of my eyes.
Ryan, the one that gives me the best chance of escape. So
you don't know.
It's not about the weapon.
The
I have to see the situation. Where's the exit? How do I get away?
Hannah,
which one do I take?
Get us back on track.
Wendy from YouTube says a good comment. She says, if someone were threatening my family, trying to take my child, I'm fighting to the win.
Yeah, Wendy, I see you.
That's a good
Ryan, anything wrong with her maternal instinct?
That's a very good one, too. If somebody's trying
Anything
to
funny
kidnap
about
your
that?
kid. No, Wendy. No, Wendy, you're doing the right
But
thing.
do the people trying to kidnap her kid have chains?
That's a good question, because if they do, are you throwing a punch or are you jump kicking them or roundhouse kicking them?
In the nuts.
Yeah. Because that's, to me,
that's what you're doing.
There's
Going
different ways
right
of going
for it.
about that. So I guess that is a good question. Thank you.
Brad, you would want your wife to do that. That'd be the first thing if she can.
If somebody's trying to kidnap you, Brad.
I'm a level with you. If I'm in a fight against more people than me, I might take that tactic.
Why would you not?
Right? There's no rules in street fights. Kick, punch, scratch,
Brad doesn't
bite.
make it out of the assault in the alley, and we're gonna all be like, but did he kick any of them in the junk?
That's all I want to know.
And then it'll be in your eulogy.
I know he's gone, but
you know what kind of guy Brad was? A man of honor, distinction.
the guy that took him out,
R.I.P.
got him right in the nuts right before that, though. So
go straight there,
tip your hat
ladies
to him.
and gentlemen. Any other ones you got to get in here before we, or anything? Any comments, Hannah? You ever think it's right to throw the first punch?
Yes.
Okay.
I do.
I do too.
In any other situations than these?
Specifically.
Thinking about it right now,
What
Ryan.
is the climate?
She just looked at
we're
me.
gonna let the YouTube live run a little long today, guys. You're gonna want to tune in. Ryan, could you sit right there?
Sure.
Are you good? Are you comfortable?
I'm just going to sit right here.
I'm gonna get you
Not
this
be the aggressor.
towel and some water. Just sit still. And the Mark Reardon show will be a little late today. Maybe not. There's no violence here. What do you think this is? The Oscars? Don't go away.
It's Mark Reardon for my friends at ThrottleNet, and let's talk about managed